YouTube Music Premium is an experience that gives you
Kristen, did you,
complete control of your music. So
check
you can
mine?
listen without ads, download unlimited music for offline play, and
You
keep your
hear
songs
me?
playing in the background.
Yes.
You hear me?
Get YouTube
Yeah,
Music Premium.
I
Try
told her.
1 month free.
I told her, and I told our cousin Sheila.
And I
sent her.
and I sent it to Denise. Okay.
Yeah, me too. I did that.
Okay, we're gonna start in 2 minutes. It's 5:08.
Okay, just let me know. I'm gonna go back on mute.
Cause you make all my dreams come true. Yes, you do. 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 I can't know you're my rock, and it can't be tripped. Don't want it to stop, and I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's why I'm so grateful, and I'm happy to say so. Ooh, I'll never fight this feeling. Raise my hands to the ceiling. I'm so grateful. Oh, I'm so grateful. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I'm grateful. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm grateful for everything you've done. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Good evening, everyone. Hi. Happy Sunday. So we're gonna open up with a prayer. Go ahead, Crystal. Not a
Father,
sermon,
I'm
a prayer.
opening up with this prayer, speaking in Ecclesiastic 3, where your word declares that there's a time and a season under the sun. There is time and a season, even in my sister's Elaine healing and trauma. To everything, there is a season. Emphasize that all emotions and actions, both negative and positive, have important. It has an important meaning that people should experience them all throughout life. Your word declares, you gave me in Ecclesiastic 3, 1-8. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones, and in time to gather stones together. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get, a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to cast away, a time to rend, and a time to sow, a time to keep silence, and a time to speak. And I'm at the last verse 8, a time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. Father, right now, and I ask you right now, oh God, everyone under the sound of my voice, oh God, to bring healing right now in the broken heart, oh God. Lift every heavy burden, oh God, under the sun. There's a timing and a season, oh God. And I thank God for this platform that we can come together, oh God, speaking and confessing our faults, because that brings healing. I thank you, Father, that this is a platform that we could be naked and not ashamed. I thank you for the love, Father. For your love and kindness have I drawn thee. And this I ask. In Jesus' name, amen, 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 amen.
Amen. I would like to greet everyone that's on the line. So for the ones that's new to this, what is an echo behind me? Right? For the ones that's new to this, my name is Elaine Lee. I'm the co-founder of Like Mother Like Sons. And the reason that name came about because my son that's on here, Carter, my oldest son, Eric, got murdered in 2018, and he was a rapper, and I'm a poet. And then my other son, Gregory, he got shot, and he's okay. We was gonna do a book, a poetry book called Like Mother Like Sons, because through this, Greg found out that he is also a poet, rapper, whatever you want to call himself. So we decided to go into the schools before the pandemic. We were going to the schools to talk to the children. Me coming from a mother's part of the aftermath of losing a child or a son getting shot. So I came in from the mother part. I had other people that were coming with me who lost their children. One was Sonia, she lost 3 of her boys, only 3 boys, to gun violence in Newark. And then I had IT who would come on, who her child, she was a gang member, her child went in her pocketbook and had a gun. She had a gun and he shot his baby brother, who was Chris, who was 4 years old. So she would come in and talk to the girls. And then I had Amanda. So we were going to the schools and it was so beautiful and emotional because they got to see firsthand experience of what it looked like. You know, I would talk to them about how sometimes, you know, word on the street was that they shot my other son because they wanted my other son. So I would talk to them about how sometimes if you're in the street and people can't get to you, they'll get to somebody you love. And so it's firsthand experience up close. And then the pandemic happened and then we would started the Zoom. So that's how that came into play. Today, I wanted to talk about, and we could talk, so we usually get up here and everybody share, whoever likes to share. They talk about their trauma. Again, trauma can be the pandemic, because a lot of kids got to stay home for a year, couldn't go outside, and that's traumatizing to children, right? To adults as well. It could also be if you was diagnosed with cancer. It also could be losing a job. In my case, it can be death of a loved one, violence. Domestic violence. So everything is a form of trauma. It depends. Because grief can be a form of trauma. It depends on how you deal with it, right? And so that's how that came into play. So we get up here, we share, we laugh, we cry. It's an open space. It's not about politics. It's not about religion, even though we pray. I did ask my friend today, could he get on and say a prayer in Arabic, right? So I don't know if he's going to do it, but I don't want everybody to think it's about religion. Religion, hopefully we all believe that there is a God. And so I'm stating that to say that we come here just to share. You know, I try to bring people on that can give advice or help somebody else. Maybe like with autistic, I did have Ms. Crump share last week. It was Autistic Month, right? I think this month, April is something. I got to find out what March was Women's History Month. I went into a couple of schools and spoke to a couple of the young ladies. So today for my spirit, and I'm gonna say my spirit, led me to just open up about mental illness as far as our youth, right? And the reason I want to touch there, and I'm waiting for Todd to jump on too, because I had a conversation with Todd. He's from the community today, and I reached out to him just to talk to him. Is a guy named Jeremy Arrington, who was sentenced the other day to 365 years. I don't know if y'all know about it, but he was the one who killed the 3 people on Haddon Terrace in Newark. So he shot the mother and then 2 of the kids, and 11-year-old and a 7-year-old at the time. And then he tried to kill the other 3, and they got away. So he got sentenced to 365 years. Why I bring up Jeremy is because he went to Chancellor. So I was an aide at Chancellor. I was also a parent liaison at Chancellor. I knew Jeremy family, right? His grandfather, Mr. Aaron, God rest his soul, he used to come to me because Jeremy was a twin to deal with his sister Jessica. So I would go over there, I would talk to them. I was like involved in their lives, right? And then we also had a student named Bayah, who I'm quite sure y'all seen on the news too, who he was one of the ones that was involved in the horrific beating of someone at the county. And then they was all over Facebook and they was showing them, it was a couple of people that was hitting them with the microwave and the water coolers. And the boy was really severely injured. Bayard with the Chancellor. He was one of the ones I loved too. Every time he would flip out in the school, they would come get Miss Lee. The principal, Mr. Fisher, would come get me. I would talk to him. I would talk to the mom, and they loved it, right? And so that was another one. And then Darren, who calls my son Greg all the time, he came from Weequahic Avenue, from Maple. And so he got caught up in the case with a Jehovah Witness getting put into a garbage can and was murdered. And so he's on trial right now for that, right? And so I'm saying all that to say that that was youth of our community. That was kids that went to Chancellor, children that went to Chancellor, went to Maple, that's involved in our little village, right? And so I want to touch on that because what could we have done to maybe prevent that? I know when Ty get on, Ty talks about how I did my part, right, as the village, how even to this day, me and Ty was talking about how I still reach out to Ty. How about call Ty just to, you okay? You all right? And just to walk him through, right? Because it was something about Ty. Ty was one of the ones who went to Chancellor again. And he came to me one time when he was at Weequahic, and he got Raz Baraka was the principal at that time, and he kicked him out. And he came to me and was like, Miss Lee, Baraka kicked me out. Could you talk to him? And I went and I spoke to Baraka, and Baraka was like, Elaine, he's doing too much. But we ended up getting him into another school. And I often used to wonder, like, did I do enough? Because Ty used to get in shootouts, he used to get shot, he used to go to jail. And it was just like, did I do enough? And so I'm bringing that up today. So maybe we could brainstorm as a village, right? What is it that we can do different? I remember when Jeremy killed the people, and I remember it was a teacher at Avon, and she said, oh my God, I knew that was going to happen, right? I remember one day when he was younger and he seen a mice outside, it was dead, and he brought it into the school, and everybody was like, so, oh my God. But it was signs. Now, I do know for sure that his grandfather would seek out medical, right? You know how sometimes they would come into the school, or at a certain time you would leave and go to Beth Israel. He used to take medicine. He did as much as he could as a grandfather, right? Reaching out. But somewhere along the line, something got lost. And so for me to know 2 children from Chancellor and 1 child from Maple, and then Todd and everybody in the community, we got to come together and think, what could we do different for the other little children, right? It don't start in the 3rd grade. I'm thinking kindergarten now, because kindergarten is no better. They can sing and they can dance and they can do all that. And so what can we do as a village? And I'm just putting that out there for food for thought. What could we do different? If it's somebody that like to speak on that, you can raise your hand or just unmute. Phil, I don't know if you're saying something. You need to unmute. Hey, Phil. Come on.
Well, I like to speak on that. That's why I'm running for school board. We have to give our kids
Phil.
options, right? Meaning as in, like, if they learn to trade and take up art, that could be so much helping our youth today. As in, because most families don't have the means to keep up with the Joneses, right? So if they see Raheem getting his money, and Raheem is getting his money, they're gonna want to get that money as well. If I can show them they can work with their hands and make the same money legally by working with their hands, by learning a trade, they will have to refer to the streets or rob someone. Meaning as in, I remember that case with the 3 guys, when he killed the 3 guys right up the street from me on Pomona Avenue when he caught him at, right? I remember that like last week. It was a guy and a couple girls in a car that shot down Elizabeth Avenue. That was my body shop that caught the footage of that crime. And if a kid learned it, to me, if a kid learned a trade, they could be so much successful in any life after school, right? It could start in grade school, bring back home economics, wood shop, and take that to the future, right? So right now I'm in Home Depot, right? Home Depot does everything. Electric, plumbing, wood, construction. If a kid can learn that, auto mechanics, ballers, they can make so much money and they won't have to depend on the streets. Because if I offer a kid 15 apples and $15, everybody gonna want the money, right? So if they take the money, that means they're enticed by the money. If I can show them people right now in the industry cutting grass can make you $3 million a year. Being a licensed electrician can make you over $1 million a year. It can make you an entrepreneurship in your trade. Not saying everybody's going to learn the trade, but you can have something to fall back on, right? So if they go to jail, right, when they come back out, they don't know anything. So what they're going to do, they're going to go back to what they know. And what they know is going on the streets and robbing and killing. So I look at it as in that way, and I look at it as in school, they don't teach you kilograms and eighths and all that stuff like that. They learn that stuff quickly on the street instead of learning in the school. So you got to get something that stimulates their mind and make them want to go to school, which is art. Art can teach you a lot of things. Memory, teach you how to progress things, remember things. Art does that. And the trade has come right with it. So if we can teach our youth how to learn the trade, that'll be very helpful. And during the pandemic, I think we can get social and emotional and bring back parents with their kids that's going through it. Because we have it in the school system only when you go back home, you face right back to the same realities again. I think bringing the parents in as well will help them much better. That is my opinion. I just think, having a space when a kid can learn a trade after school or during school in the public school system or in the whole city, the whole state, I think that should be offered. That way it could be less crime out here in the streets, I believe. Because most of our crime comes from the youth.
Remember when we used to have school, I don't know if you had it, but when I was in school, we had wood shop, we had home economics.
Yeah.
So they took that out. And so you're right, they need to bring that back.
Home economics teach you how to sew, how to cook, how to use a washer and dryer, how to write in cursive, and how to balance a checkbook. So we talk about financial literacy, it starts back in home ec, because all that stuff deals with measurements. When you cooking, it does teach you stuff about measurements. Teach you how to read wood shop, teach you how to read a ruler. What's metric, what's standard. And they learn that on the streets. They not learn that in school no more. So, as I'm out here, I know we're not talking politics, but as I'm out here, people don't know how to sign their name because they don't know how to do that. And that's a shame. And all that is if I stand in this corner, I can make $200 a day. That's if you stand in the corner every day, that's $1,400 a week. Times 4, that's $5,600 a month. They're getting that 16 from 12 to 17 years old, standing in the corner, selling drugs for Uncle Ray Ray. And if I can teach them to make that money legally at that age, it'll be fine. But we have to start with the basics. The kids now is already gone. 15, 16-year-old, most of them is already gone already. We got to attack the youth and bring the youth back as when I went to school. I went to Peshon all my life. My whole family went to one school, K through 8, Peshon Avenue School. I was in the band at Weekway, and I went to North Tech. But I took the trade up and learned it and never been arrested. Thank God, never got in no trouble. But most people can't say that. But most parents, I grew up in a double parent home. Most kids grow up in a single parent, which is no excuse. But still, we have to do something to entice our kids to stay in school and find out what they want to do. Because if not, we losing them to the streets every day. Every day we losing them.
Absolutely. So again, somebody say yes. Okay, so let's look at the chat. So yes, these children don't know. Okay, so is Todd on the line yet? Okay, because I know some people on the iPhone. So for example, and maybe Greg, you could talk about this. I was talking to Todd earlier and he was talking about how a young guy reached out to him and he was saying to him that, he needed help. He stole cars and he sell drugs or whatever, and he don't want to do that, right? And so I was saying that he says to them, like, I don't mess with kids that steal cars, right? And if you really want to be a part of me, if you want to hang with me, then you'll stop stealing cars. It got to be something different. What else could stop them from something? Okay, for instance, I have a friend of mine whose son steal cars. And so when that happened on Elizabeth Avenue, he said somebody did call him, like, now his son is incarcerated, like, is your son home? Right? And that's them too. Now look at all the car thieves. And so he could have been, like, even the ones that we know that steal cars, they would be considered a suspect. So what do y'all think that we should do in that note? Or Greg, how do you feel? Like, what brings the children to the streets?
I mean, I think what he said was good, but I think it's no one specific thing that bring kids to the streets, and there's no one simple solution. But I just think that it's not really about money nowadays, because I think that we need more leaders, because a lot of kids are followers, and they just need a good image to follow, because if it was about the money, then, like he said, for an example, he gave an example how they only make it $1,500, $100 a month, $200 a day. You can make that working a job, making $14 an hour, $15 an hour, but they would rather stand on the corner because it's more cool. It's cooler. Do drugs, because half of them don't really even make money when they out on the streets hustling. They just make enough money to get high and do pills and do all that stuff. So a lot of kids are just followers, and they do stuff to fit in. So I think that if they had a better role model, if they just need somebody to follow, or somebody to come tell them, like, yo, look, this is what we need to do, and this is the right way to do things, because it's not really always about the money. Because probably 80% of the people that's in the streets is not really getting no money, even if they stealing cars. A lot of them, a lot of the kids, the youth that's out here stealing cars, they're not making money off of stealing the cars. It's only a selected few that go to chop shops and sell the cars. A lot of them is just out here joyriding. Like, even the kids that they hit innocent people, like, they just, it's like a lot of people just that's it. That's just the end. That's what's in for the kids. Like, they don't have any guidance. They don't have anybody to lead them. Like, so, like, we got to come together as a community, people that been through things, or people that just see that just on the right track, and we have to figure out what can we do to come together and go into the schools and go get the youth and do things and show them things that they can do other than being out here on the corner, and show them that that's not the only thing that's cool. So I think that we got to just come up with stuff like that to just figure out what could we do to attract them. Like, what do we got to go to individual kids or a selective kid, go around to the schools and figure out what is it that they want to do? Like, do they want to travel? Do they want to do this? Like, we got to figure out what intrigues each individual child and try to help as many kids as we can, because there's no one specific thing for all of them. Because you have some kids that come from a single parent household that choose the streets. You have some kids that come from both parents in the household who choose the streets. So everybody have their own individual reason for wanting to choose the streets. Some people might be like, all right, they really forced to go to the streets to provide for their family. Some people might be like, man, I want to be a tough guy. I just want to join the game, because, like, everybody has their own specific reason why they join the street life. So we have to get to the core of it. And
that's perfect. So, because for the ones that don't know, Greg is my son, right? That's my middle son, my middle child. And so Greg ended up getting a record when he was older, right? And so every case that he went to, and I went as a mother to court, the judges were very lenient as far as, oh my God, what is he doing here? Okay, he went to the good schools. He went to science. He never got locked up as a juvenile. He was a top debater. He was a football player. He was a basketball player. They couldn't believe, and they tried to understand, like, what went wrong. And so, as a single parent who raised 3 children, who actually took my nephew, so raised 4 children. None of my children was in the gang. They all completed high school. And what led you to go a different way as an adult? I mean, because you got the tattoos. When we go into the school, the children relate to you because you look like them. You have the jewelry, you have the tattoos. So if you had to look back, what took you to the streets? I can't hear you.
I listened to Tupac when I was a kid.
Oh, I'm gonna go get Tupac.
No, I'm playing, but no, really, probably. I think. See, my own, like, see, I already told you, like, when we was young, when Uncle Khalif passed away when I was 9. I see. I think back because even with the therapy when I got shot and I went to the therapy with the university hospital, and they give you tools to look back and reevaluate your life and to feel like and think like what was your first case of being, because I know like even I have a lot of anger in me. So as I think back and when my own Khalif died in 1999, I was 9 years old. I really didn't. I mean, I loved On Khalif. I knew On Khalif, but I was 9 years old, so it didn't really affect me like it affected y'all. But I used to see all y'all crying all the time. You used to always look at the videos and even though subconsciously we glorify stuff that's not even really cool, but because Uncle Khalif is the reason why I didn't join the gang, but in reality, I still did all the stuff that gang members did. I sold drugs. I went to jail. I did all the things that gang members did. But my reason for not joining the gang is because growing up, y'all used to always talk about On Khalif and be like, On Khalif, he ain't play that gang stuff. But On Khalif was tough to people in the streets and people respect On Khalif. But On Khalif always said that gang stuff was cowards. So me growing up, I always felt like I didn't want to join the gang because I wanted to be tough or hold my own by myself, but it still was the wrong thing to do. But subconsciously, as the Black community, we glorify those type of things. So coming up and looking at Uncle Khalif and then seeing how hurt and heartbroken y'all was, it made me angry. So I had a lot of anger in me seeing, because back then I didn't even know who did what, but all I know is that in coming up in our society, like, you know, somebody do something to you, like even as a parent, you teach your kid, yo, somebody hit you, you better hit them back. If your brother or your sister fighting, you better go out there and help them. So as a kid, seeing somebody, On Khalif got shot, got murdered, and he only had sisters, and then we had Reek and Pooh, they was locked up. So as a kid, I wanted revenge in my head. So I was angry from that. And then I looking at that, that lifestyle was cool to me. Because I really love Tupac. I even cried when he died when I was 6 years old. But Tupac and Uncle Khalif was really like my role model. So coming up, I never wanted to be in a gang or I never wanted to follow people, but I still wanted to live that type of lifestyle. I wanted people
Why
to
we
say,
hear an
"Oh,
echo?
I don't know." Is it echo when I talk?
It stopped now, like somebody was.
Well,
Somebody with an iPhone was unmuted. So if you could you please make sure everyone is muted? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Greg.
So I feel like subconsciously we let our children see things, or we like even by mourning, like even like I said, once Everett passed away, and I know how when y'all used to cry in front of me and be sad, it made me angry and want revenge. And I do the same thing in front of my kids because we can't help it sometimes. If you're in pain and you mourning and you just crying and your child walks in the room and he sees that, you don't know how that affects them. Like if they be like, oh my God, who making my mother cry? Who making my father cry? But it's a reoccurring cycle because of the circumstances we in coming up in our society. So when I was 9, you lost your brother. I lost my uncle. Greg was 9 years old. He lost his uncle. I lost my brother. So it's like subconsciously we see things and things happen in our life, and it makes us want to go a certain route because I mean you raised me and Eric, so they people try to blame stuff on the parents, but at a certain age and at a certain point, a child becomes a man or woman and they have to make their own choices. So I had to make my own choices in life, and those are the choices that I decided to make. It's like no specific reason. It's just that sometimes you make bad decisions and you have to learn from your mistakes, and it's not one thing. Like some people might be like, yo, my mother was on drugs, so I had to sell drugs. I didn't really have to do anything. All mine was, I didn't need to do it. I wanted to do it. You had 3 kids, you did what you could do for us, but I wanted more. I wanted to do this and I wanted, so it's just about teaching, I guess, the kids to have discipline, because everything that you want, you don't have to, it's easy. When you go down the easier route, you have to suffer the consequences. So that's how we have to, and I didn't have a male figure or discipline to say, oh, this is what you're going to, because a mother really can't raise a man to be a man, because a mother is more lenient. Like even like with sports, Like if like how my father used to say, "Oh, he don't need to be playing all those sports. He need to work." Sometimes you do need to show a child at a certain age, like, yo, you need to work and you need to have discipline. But he wasn't in our life enough to be there, so I didn't have to listen to him. I played sports and I did what I wanted to do. But sometimes you just really do need that male figure in your life to really show you, or you sometimes you're just looking for that male figure, looking for love, and then when you don't got that, you learn stuff on your own, and you take your own, make your own choices. So
Okay, so for instance, Coach Pat, Patrick Council, he works for the city. He was actually Greg's coach. And I actually had a conversation with him Friday because I was saying to him that I'd be inviting him to these things because even as that, so like he said, some people say get them jobs, some people say sports. I always believe if you keep a child involved, whether it's sports, debate, basketball, football, if you keep them involved and be there, that would keep them from the streets, right? And so Greg was saying something that he felt like, and I said, like, Coach White was a mentor. And well, Coach White too, Altarique White was his high school coach, football coach. And then Patrick Council was his, in grammar school coach. And then I felt like I was giving them mentors. So you saying even having a male at Tawana, mute your phone, Tawana, even having a male figure that didn't take the place of your father being here?
No, nobody could take the place of your father, but I feel like that's why I say how we do it, or how I say we should come together as a community, because maybe you look at stuff different. Because if I go into a school right now and I talk to the kids, and then I give the kids my number and they can call me and I take them out to the movies and all that, they will feel the love is genuine. As a kid, like, I was never stupid, so I analyzed stuff. So even with Coach Pat and Coach White, they only showed me extra attention because I was a star player. If they did stuff out of love, and coaches wanted to be there for every child, they would do that. If I wasn't a star player and I sat on the bench and I wanted to quit, it's plenty of kids I seen quit the team and they let them quit. It wasn't no problem. When I got mad and I wanted to quit, Coach Pat came to talk to you. He made you talk to me to get me back on the team. It's like they showed me extra attention because I was a good football player or a good basketball player. So they showed me that attention because I could actually do something for them. I didn't feel like they really loved me as a person. I mean, they good people. So as they got to know me, we grew a relationship. But at that point, I didn't feel like they really loved me because they just loved me. It was genuine love. I feel like they showed me extra attention and extra love because I can help them win football games or win sports games. So I feel like if we come together as a community and we going inside the schools and talking to the youth and helping kids, they will feel the love is genuine, and maybe they would grasp it different. Because I didn't look at them like that, because I knew that they only showed me that attention because I was a good player.
I agree. So being that me and Greg opened up the floor, Sheila, I see Sheila Montague is commenting in the chat. If you would like to unmute and chime in on this, Sheila.
Oh, yes. Hi, everybody. No, I just was, really relating to so much he was saying that, I know his uncle is just a small world, Khalif. And he's just a really, really just special big brother type person that was in my life. And there's just no words, as far as that goes,
And
but
I'm his sister, and I never knew you knew my brother, Sheila.
Listen, you got another sister named Dee Dee, right?
Yes. And
Let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you that was my brother, when that man walked this earth, I ain't feel like nobody would do nothing to hurt me. And he just always had my back, just the most kind soul, big-hearted person, just good people. I like I said, it's not enough words. I can't say enough. And Newark has changed, because he's not here, for real. But I just wanted to say, I was really also just relating to what he said with a lot of these coaches, because my son went to university, and at the time they would win it every year, and they treated my son so differently because their skill level and that they were winning. And I'm just happy to see that this young man wasn't brainwashed by it, because my son listened, to these coaches to a point that they were telling him, oh, don't listen to your mother. You need to leave him alone. Wait, what? And this is my child? And they have my child. Right now, My son ended up not finishing college. They was changing his grades for him at the school. He started walking all through the school, doing whatever. They would open the soda machines and chip machines up for him. You know, they was just treating him in a type of way that I wasn't raising him to be. And I saw the impact on that. And then when he did get into college, you know, and I asked them, like, where are they now? Like every week they were taking them to bowling games and all of this stuff because they were winning. And just like he said, the young men who wasn't performing like that on the team, they didn't get that same treatment. They didn't get the same. And so it's like they let the boys up, like lift them up to let them down. And I think that that's one of the scariest things, you know, about people. A lot of people think like abuse and hurt and stuff like that it is physical, but there's an emotional and psychological aspect that goes on, you know, with our young men that I'm not sure that as moms we always know about, or when we know, I'm not sure that we always know how to deal with it. And a lot of these coaches, they call themselves mentors, but in the final analysis, they're for self. And I'll say that Coach Elijah, and I'll say his name over at University, it's not personal, but he was more concerned about winning every year. And they were winning every year. They were winning every year. But those boys didn't get the support they want. And it breaks my heart every time I see that young man. And y'all probably know his name. He's in the South Ward every day by that Dunkin' Donuts.
Brandon.
Because he played ball with my son. Every time I see him, and don't get me wrong, I'm not blaming that on the coach, but what I am saying is that those boys, that group, they just didn't have the support. Everybody was concerned about playing on my team, making my team look good, getting the win. And it's just not always about that. A lot with basketball is about teaching kids how to work together as a group collectively. It's about sportsmanship and a lot of those skills that you learn. Even like I said, shaking hands up at the end of a game, like understand battle with somebody and still you don't have that camaraderie. Those skills take place in the community also. You know, it's a part of conflict resolution. Just because you battled against somebody don't mean that you have to shoot them or kill them, right? Like, it's just deep. I just wanted to share that. Thank you for allowing me.
Thank you. Greg, so that's where Greg comes in when he's saying that they need mentors. It has to be something before the football, before the sports, after the sports. And I'm gonna say, even as a single mom, right, being there with Greg, he was one of the top debaters when they first came out with the debate in grammar school, and he won. And then it was football, basketball, and I was right there. And one day when we was talking, and I was a single parent, and he was saying that it really bothered him that his dad didn't come to the games, or he wasn't at the graduation, or he wasn't that, right? And even though to them, maybe that they didn't look at their father as a bad father, but it broke my heart, because I'm saying, like, oh my God, for all the things I was there, for the football, the basketball, the debate, he running down the field, I'm running down the sideline, screaming and yelling. And to then hear him say, like, it really bothered me that my father wasn't there. As a mother, I thought me being at everything, doing everything, that took the place. And I guess reality had to hit me, like, he still wanted that his father there. Right, Greg? And so, I mean, sometimes we got to look at that, like he said, and I'm glad he said that, that is really not the parents' fault. And I say this to other parents, we could do the best we could do. Parenting is something that's not taught. It's something that you got to learn, right? And like he said, they said one of my sons was good, one of my sons was bad. And I wouldn't say that Greg was bad, but Greg just didn't take certain things like Everett would. Everett would confront let me handle it. If a teacher disrespected him, he let me handle it. Greg would be like, you can't talk to me like that. And so they were raised by the same mother. I taught them the same things. And sometimes, like he said, it took him till he was an adult to catch his first case or sell drugs. And I did the best that I could. And I used to say to him, I can't do nothing for you but pray. I can't go to jail for you, right? If you get locked up, that's just something that you have to do on your own. And so all we can do is teach them, right? And be there as this group for each other. Is there someone else that would like to chime in? Me, Greg, and let me see 2 new messages. Tawana on the iPhone, she said, I feel the same way. I was there when nobody else. Ahead,
you know what's funny? Elaine, it's Nixon. It's Nixon. I just logged in. I was busy, but I just logged in.
All right.
And it's funny, I logged in while you were having this conversation. Because remember when I was at Bridges, right? And I used to run a male mentoring group at Bridges, which was an alternative high school. And it was around Father's Day. And I asked the boys to write a letter to their dads. And it was about maybe 30 boys. And out of 30, about 20 of them said, I don't have a father. So I said, well, write a letter to any male that you look up to or any male that inspire you. And they all were like, I don't have anyone. So you know the story. I went home that day and it bothered me. I said, damn, none of these boys see any positive, or they don't know that they have positive men in their lives. So I said to myself, I was never into sports, basketball, football, I never watched it. But I remember most of them were into basketball. So I came up with that bright idea. When I got back to work the next day, I said, how about having a father-son basketball game to kick off Father's Day? And they were like, that sounds like a good idea, Mr. Nixon. What do I need to do? I said, you need to find a male who is 21 or over that you look up to. It can be a big brother, an uncle, the mailman, any male that you see as a positive role model. They have to be 21 and over. So the boys came back and everybody's like, I found someone. So they got their uncles, grandfathers, their big brothers, and they brought them, their names in, and I called them and they were like, I'll participate. And that was the kickoff of the first father-son game. And I tell people after that first game, the next day they were like, Nixon, we gonna do this again? And I said, damn, we just had the game yesterday. And they were like, well, we want to do it again. And it went on for 13 years. Every year until they graduated, even after they graduated, they were calling me, Nixon, you doing the father-son game? Can I play? And I end up having one year, it was about 40 men and 40 boys, and everybody was trying to get in, and I have t-shirts made up. And that's the year the Star Ledger came and Barry Carter wrote a letter. So sometimes we have to get them to look at people who they don't see as who aren't their fathers, but they're positive males in their community. So I just happened to log in when you was talking about that. I was like, wow, I logged in at the perfect time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so Nixon, for the ones that don't know him, that just was speaking, he was a parent liaison when I was a parent liaison. And what was it, Dayton Street that you was at?
Yeah, I was at Dayton Street until they closed.
And then you went to Shabazz, and now you where?
I'm at Marion P. Thomas Charter High School.
Okay, so now he's at the charter. So I just actually did an event for him for Women's History Month. He had the women come out and speak, which was very, very, very good. And so he's definitely a male role model in this community. Is it someone else that would like to chime in? Mr. Morris, go ahead, Morrison. Unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Morrison. I'm a Reverend at First Baptist Church in South Orange, retired Maple Police Sergeant, and also the owner of Morrison American Karate. We teach kids karate, keep them off the streets out of Coliseum Gym in Newark. And I'd like to share that someone who was talking just made my heart heavy, because I was the officer in the school at Columbia High School for like 2001 and 2005. And I witnessed that, not only that they show favoritism to the ones that are doing sports, right? They also treated the African-American youth that were doing well economically and in that community, and he celebrated them. But what about the marginalized, the kids that are not doing well in school, our grades are not good enough to be part of sports? They actually feel disconnected from the building. They didn't get no support from the other teachers and even from the coaches. So there was a whole population of students that didn't feel that they belonged. Those are kids that start kicking the can and breaking the lockers because they don't feel connected to the school. And so I was there. I started a mentoring program, ran from 2002 to 2012. And my kid, I called them the Thuglies, but their grades wasn't good. We met in the school. We had our own T-shirts and we did things around the building, and which made them feel connected to the whole system. And I hear your son talking because these youth understand, right? If you're genuinely concerned about them, if you have genuine, they can feel that they see the difference. In, I'm not a psychologist. What I learned about my group is that they wanted to have somebody in their life that they were disappointing. Like, they didn't want to disappoint Officer Mike with their behavior. So they wanted to feel that they were disappointing someone. And secondly, we know it's not politics, but I grew up in Chancellor and Leslie, and I went to Chancellor my whole life, and I had the after school program my whole life. And I believe as soon as I went to Weequahic in 78, I think that was the year that ended. And you can correlate the rise in crime in Newark with the absence of those after school programs. And juvenile crime happens between 3 and 5 p.m. That is statistically proven. So and dealing with different communities, I deal with politicians. And when I ran my programs, I hear terms like, oh, we got to find the money. I don't know if you guys have heard that before, where politicians got to find the money. No, put the resources back into our community. We are doing everything. It takes money. And we need to put the resources back in our community because, and sometimes we like to put it on the 501(c)(3)s and drop it in the laps of the nonprofits. But if our whole community just gets an effort and make the youth a priority, they're not a priority. We have organizations like us. We get together and we brainstorm, of ways to help out. And I was at a meeting, a leadership meeting, and just encourage everyone here because what the man told us is you can't boil the ocean. There's so much work to be done. There's so many youth to help. And so the ones we could reach and the ones we could touch and the lives we could pour into, let's concentrate, because we step back and widen the lens out is such a large task. So we kind of encourage, I wanted to share that term with you, that you guys can't boil the ocean, but the ones you can help, you make a difference in their lives. But the young man just touched me so, because I just saw that so much, how these adults and these educators support these kids and get behind these kids and actually use them as their mouthpiece as long as these kids are beneficial to them, and give them no support after they leave the school. Thanks. I'm done rambling.
I agree. That wasn't the ramble. I agree. Is there someone else that would like to touch on that?
I agree 100%. There normally are no wraparound services, because I know I worked at a high school where a young man came back about 2 years after he graduated and asked the guidance counselor to write him a reference letter. And she was like, no, I'm not doing that. I said, well, I'll do it. She was like, I don't know what he's doing now, so I'm not. So I was like, I'll write the letter, and I wrote the letter. But most of them don't have any support once they leave high school, and that's when most of them need it.
I hate to say this again. That's why I'm running for school board, so we can stop that. We need programs back in the school. And when I went to school, it was after school called rec, right? And the school was open from 3 to 9. My uncles and all them was at Passion Avenue playing ball in the rec. So I watched them play ball. We studied. We did after school work to be in the band. You had to have a certain age, certain grade to be in the band or to play sports. But if you're good in sports, they're going to throw that out the window and say, come on, you're going to play sports and forget the grades, right? So as in what we need to do, like I said, the youth, we need the youth now. If not, we're going to lose them. We're going to 100% lose them to the streets. And that's why, like I said, I hate to be political again. That's why I'm running for school board, to open these schools back up. The public school board has got $1.3 billion. So if a teacher don't stay after, we can hire more teachers from 3 to 9 to help our youth get back on track. It needs to happen. And like I said, if we just keep doing what we're doing, we're going to lose. We're going to lose our youth, and there's nobody to blame but ourselves as a community as a whole. We have a chance to change what's going on right now. And if not, we're going to lose it. I just hate to say that,
I want to say this to you too, Phil. I hope you win. I wish you good luck. But God forbid you don't get on the school council. Obviously, because it's like say if you working out and sometimes you get sidetracked and you don't be motivated and you need your workout partner. So I know sometimes even with supporting the youth and getting things like the recreation back in motion, I get sidetracked with my everyday life things and I lose focus. So like if you and my mother and we can all come together if you don't get on the school board, because we can make things like that happen in our community without being in the political world, like without being on the school board. If everybody come together and we raise money and we do stuff ourselves to start an open gym for the kids and where they can come and have them. Because I was talking to my mother and that's what a lot of these kids need. So even if we can't do it the political way, if we come together as a community and keep each other focused and motivate each other, we can get that done as a community ourselves, because we can't wait on the politicians and everybody to help us. We have to help ourselves.
Well, you're right about that. If I don't win, I don't win. I'm going against 6 other candidates, which is not a problem. But the other 3 candidates, I'm going to get the mayor, the county, the governor. So I'm fighting against them as well. So what I said to myself was, if I don't win, I was going to go ahead and just sit down and drop my plan and start my own training school and call it a day. They're going to come back to me no matter what. They're going to come back. Newark Public School Board, yes. I am currently the Head Start chairman of the Head Start policy program there in the city of Newark. We just got it's almost $11 million to have our kids to go to school for free, and move some COVID relief funds for our students to have sensory boards for mental illness. So I'm out here doing the work, but I'm not politically backed by a certain party that's hurting our kids. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I understand that people vote for who they want to vote for, but we our kids need us. Our kids shouldn't have to wait for this person to come out during election time. That person, I'm out here every day. Like I said, my kids is invested inside the school system, in North Public School System. So I'm here to fight for them and other kids in the community. And
like he said, so if you don't get in, you'll still be fighting, right, Phil?
I've been fighting all my life. In 2016, they gave up on me. My kidneys failed me.
Oh, wow.
2017, 2018, 2019, I was in the hospital every month. But 2019, my wife gave me a kidney, and I've been good ever since. I've been fighting for the past 5 years now. So I'm good. So far, I'm good. I'm a dad of 5, active in all my children's school system. 1 go to West Orange, 1 go to East Orange, and 3 boys in the city of Newark. So I'm active in all these schools. So it's not like it's just my kids. I'm active in everything. I'm in the. I used to help out with the Weequahic Marching Band until there's no more band there at Weequahic no more. I bowls. I play basketball. My kids have started T-ball again. I tried that in Newark. But Pat Council, I got shut out. So I had to take my kids somewhere else to go play T-ball. I was a part of that team in Elizabeth that went to the national championship in Elizabeth 3 years ago, right before the pandemic. I tried to bring a program back to Newark, but I was shut out because of politics. And I said to Pastor, look, I was right there. I don't need the glory. I don't need to put the pictures up and show receipts. I don't need to do that. It's my work speaks for itself. So, like I said, if I win and don't win, I'm out here every day. Like I said, I'm out here every day with my kids after school, going door to door in the South Ward. Next week, I'll be in the Central Ward until the elections come up. I don't need a group behind me because I'm not a yes person. I go by the facts and go what's needed. Like you said, your child was lost to violence, right? How can we prevent that? Certain things we can prevent, certain things we can't prevent. But if we give our youth another chance, another way to look at things differently, that's the start. And I need to start not yesterday, not today, but keep going. Yes, no more Weequahic High School Marching Band. Weequahic High School Marching Band is no longer in existence as of Thanksgiving Day of last year.
Well, they just performed the other day for Darrell, but I think they still have a band because they was outside performing on Bergen yesterday.
That's not marching band. That's Essex County, Union County Marching Thunder.
So Darrell, who was over from Weequahic, is still a part of it, though.
No, Darrell and Jamal is the band directors at for Essex County and Union County Marching Thunder,
Okay, okay,
not Weequahic High School Marching Band.
okay.
He started that program right before the pandemic started, and then
Oh.
it put up, and then he put in his paperwork, and his last performance for Weequahic High School Marching Band was Thanksgiving game versus Shabazz High School.
Okay, so that means that we, again, as the community, got to find out, because a lot of the children, even my daughter was involved in the band, they like that. And so unless another school is gonna start something, we got to come up with something.
Well, Shabazz still have their band, right? She still have his band, and
Okay.
Dara is accepting kids. Most of the kids went to his nonprofit organization that's based out of Bloomfield College, and he do performance for King as well. But we don't have that no more. Like I said, I was in a band since I was in 3rd grade. That was back in 91. I came out of high school in 99. So I was in a band that long. And like I talk to Dara every day. I said, listen, 10,000 kids might have came through Weequahic High School Marching Band since the time you started down in 87 until 2021. You got 3 people. 2 people got died, and 1 person went to jail out of 10,000 people. That program was so successful. But it's not there no more because people want to put politics into it.
Okay, so we gotta do our part in the community, right? And come together and see what we can do. So as far as that goes, with, like Greg said, mentoring, stepping up. Did Ty get on the line yet?
Also, I'm a part of the DAS network as well. I can share the information with you when we have our.
Where's that at?
That network is in the city of Newark. You know, it's part of the NCS team, NCST team. So it's a DAD network that we meet at once a month. We try to get dads involved with it in the school system. We got 1,000 kids enrolled in the pre-K program. We only got 50 dads. That
Is it just dads?
It could be dads and moms, but we
No, I'm just, when I say that, is it like involved with the children? Do the sons come, or is it just dads?
What it is, I'm trying to get. They're trying to get more dads involvement with it, right? So, and the pre-K 3 and pre-K pro program, it's 1,000 kids. So if it's
No,
1,000,
I'm saying as of right now, is it just dads that's meeting? That's what I'm asking.
No.
How can I get that information?
I put my number in the chat, so you're gonna send me a text and I'll shoot it right to you. I put my number in the chat earlier. If not, I'll put it in the chat again.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, it's in there. I will say the name. Is there someone else that would like to touch on it? You know, so what I do is, everybody that's up here, if you on the phone, you can do *6. It was #6. It was #6. #6 to unmute so you can speak. Definitely don't want to leave anyone out that have anything to talk about, touch on. Right now, if you just joined in, we was talking about mental health with our youth. Like for the guy that just got sentenced to 365 years, he actually was a product of North Public Schools. He went to Chancellor. Then there also was another student, Bayai, who went to Chancellor, who was a part of the savage beating in Essex County Jail. And I was stating, and then I also mentioned another guy named Darren, who I was gonna maybe try to interview, right? It's a couple that speaks to my son, that speaks to us, and maybe I can interview them to just see what went wrong. And I was saying, where do we come in at? Because I know I did my part. And I'm just saying, as a parent liaison, as a teacher aide, I definitely did my part. I reached out. The children, I made them feel that they were loved, right? So when something went wrong, go get Miss Lee. When Bayard flip out and do what he was doing in the school, they went and got Miss Lee, right? When Jeremy was doing things, his grandfather, which was unfortunate back then, his grandfather was raising him, and so his grandfather did the best that he could. God rest his soul, he's not here any longer. But he would come to the school. He would have me speak to Jeremy twin, Jessica, and that's what I just want to say, how we get back together and build as a community, right? Even if it's mentoring the 3rd graders and the kindergartens. It was something so I used to do drama club at Chancellor. I was actually at Chancellor for 18 years, and I would take my poetry and put it into skits, right? And so the children would get up on the stage and act it out, right? And even in that, we used to, definitely one thing about Miss Lee, I didn't play the bullying stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in these schools as far as bullying. right? That the children won't go home and they won't say nothing. And so I reached back out to, I had a lot of children in the drama club, and I reached back out to them maybe last year sometime, and or the year before, and I asked them, could they write, write a little letter, excuse me, on how drama club affected their lives, right? And I just want to read one of them. And when I look back and as I was getting the little letters in my inbox, I really cried, because even though I didn't see the impact, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew, and I guess Naeem is about to put it up, I was doing Amber's. Right now, this is Tanisha's. And I just was reaching out to them, doing my part, and I didn't know really how it affected them. And so this one right here, I'm going to read, is from Amber Brown. She was one of the ones in my drama club. And she said, now looking back on my journey and being a part of Miss Lee's A Cry for Help, because that's what it was called, A Cry for Help Productions. Somebody is trying to get in. Wait a minute. She said, now looking back on my journey and being a part of Miss Lee's A Cry for Help drama club, I believe it helped me recognize and realize that I not only had a voice to write poetry, but that I was still and also crying out for help. Drama club was my first step of being put out of my comfort zone. And to this very day, I'm very truly grateful for it. Being on stage with my friends and even those who I considered little mentees, I saw it all. I saw pain, I saw laughter, I saw discomfort, I saw nervousness, and most importantly, I saw how Miss Lee poetry was so powerful that it brought those who related to the situation into tears, even when they were performing. As a North native, and seeing that us as a youth, we had to go through a lot in the city. And even to this day, I know that we need to continue to let our voices be heard and let those who try to ignore the truth, or even those who simply cannot hear us, know that we are crying for help. Miss Lee is a part of the reason why I discovered that I had, and not only a voice, but a potent voice. And performing her pieces only made me make the connection to who I am and who I was becoming deeper. I will always support Miss Lee and continue in this journey. And that was from Amber. And it was other ones, and they talked about how they look forward to after school, how they was being, one, I did an interview with Javon, and he said he was being bullied, right? And I never knew it. Right. And they didn't come. He just showed up at drama club, and he said what he looked forward to at the end of the day was going to the drama club because he felt secure. And so that's my thing. Even if we can get back into the schools, right? And even something, I just was having them perform, and I talked about how you have a voice and how you gotta teach people how to treat you. And I didn't know the impact. And so looking back and getting the letters, that showed me that I still have work to do. I still have some children to save, right? And hopefully, it's some people on here that maybe could do their part. I don't want to call anybody up, but I do see, let me see if she's still here, because I know she's a school social worker. Why can't?
Who are you looking for?
Mm.
What's her name? Can I just share on what you had said, Elaine?
Go ahead.
You were talking
Matt,
about.
introduce yourself, Matt.
Hey, I'm Matt, y'all. You were talking about. You were talking. See, you done messed up my train of thought. Hey, family. My name's Matt Williams. I run an organization called I'm So Newark. I got sick and tired and really frustrated that anytime I heard news about the city that I was born and raised, it was bad news. And I think that if we sit in front of a television and watch nothing but bad news, that's all we're gonna know. You know, we're gonna be psychologically brainwashed on like, that's the only thing that's happening in Newark is jokers getting stabbed, shot, killed, and hurt. And that's the only thing, like the only thing that's happening is carjacks and there's no economic development. So we thought in our robbery to take the cameras that we own and just start capturing positive stories and showing that grandmother on the block that's doing a daycare now and taking care of her daughter that just got out of prison, kids, and then the mother down the street wanted her kids to come too. Now she running the daycare. And we like to focus on those citizens because we don't see that. Think about the news. Every time the news come on, it's bad news, especially in our community. You know, so we just wanted to kind of like change the narrative, you know, like everything bad ain't happening in the news. Like right now, this won't be on the news, what's going on this platform right now. They won't get on ABC, did you know Elaine Lee is holding, because they want to cover some bad news or somebody getting smacked. Like what the hell? Like that's all we got to do is share about somebody getting smacked. in and out all day long. So that's why my name's Matt Williams. But you know, I grew up on the South Board, and you were saying like what made it go wrong, and you know my story, Elaine. Just from emotional stuff I went through, I made a decision to go smoke crack, you know, and I went into a spiritual room and smoked crack, right? And I turned around and that door that I came in had closed. I could not get out, right? So what was told us is like, don't smoke crack. But what happens when you fall into that arena of dismay and spiritual screwed upness? I wanted to say effed upness, but and trying to get out. So until I was able to make a decision, like I really want to get help, and found some people like me to be able to pull my hand up and to help me through, and had to get to the realization that I went through that, but I still need support even to this day, you know, because I don't want to go back into that room and the doors closed. So I believe that I am not much different than other people. Mine's might have been drugs. Somebody else's might be some other issue. Or somebody, you talking about bullying. People thought I was tough in Chancellor. You know, I wasn't tough. I was scared. You know, I didn't even say the names of the cats that used to bully. But the reason I would push them back, because I was scared. You know, it was fear that came over me that provoked me to kind of like retaliate. So what I'm saying is that there's answers to this, and in all the answers, there's no one-off fix all. What Elaine is doing here, what the other brother said about the men getting together. I start saying I don't care what nobody thinks, but that's so negative. When men get together, it's an awesome thing, you know. And I don't care. You can say, yo, we having a men's meeting. Those certain women show up, and that's good too. You know, thank God for them strong women that said, I'm going to the men's meeting. But when we get together and get our minds together and start writing stuff down and moving, like this is what we're gonna do. You know, we're gonna start meeting with people and helping them with their homework. I'm not down with helping nobody with sports. I want to help with some homework. Let's some mathematics, some algebra, some trigonometry, some binary, you know.
So,
because go ahead.
No, I'm saying talk. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You
Yeah,
gotta
because to me it's about the education. And you know, we had this thing called the Cherry Blossom Festival. I live over here across the street from the park, and all of these Asians and Indians, like, and I looked up some of the jobs they have. And yo, and people say don't use the word competition, but these are people we're competing with when you go out for certain jobs, you know. So, and it's all about math and algebra and going to school on Saturdays with them. So I know that's kind of big, but we just got to start small, you know. And it's got to, and I support bands. And I really do. I love when Week Wake Band come down the street. I love when Shabazz, the Bulldogs come down the street. But my thing is the purpose. Like, we got to have purpose. You know, in this last story, thinking of that, it was a woman that baked a turkey, and they said the turkey was so delicious. And she said, why are your turkeys always so delicious? She said, because I cut the turkey in half. They said, where you get that from? She said, Mama taught me how to do that. You know, and they went to the mother and said, hey, why you cut your turkey in half? She said, because it makes it taste so good. And they said, who taught you that? She said, my mother taught me that. So we went to grandma and said, look, grandma, how your turkeys taste so good? She said, because I season them well. And they said, well, we thought it was because you cut the turkey in half. She said, no, baby, I never had a pot big enough to fit the whole turkey in. So I cut it in half. So sometimes we might think things are like, I love kids to learn music. I love kids to learn how to read music, because if you learn how to read music, most likely you're going to be good at mathematics. And the statistic says that people who learn music achieve in their academics. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't have bands, but I'm just saying when we move forward and do things like, what is it for? You know, and I love my mayor. I love Ras Baraka, but I don't want all the people around him to be his people. I want people like the brother that's on here to be able to get into office too. I don't want yes men all around him and people like, yeah, whatever you say, yeah, this is the right choice. No. We need some smart, intelligent people to go up against the grain and then come with me with an answer. No, why are we doing this? Somebody told me, question everything. Why are we doing this? What's the reason for the band? Why are they staying after school learning band? Like, where are they gonna go with it? Do we know with the kids that, like you were saying, that somebody had came through a program? Do we know where they are today? Because if we can get a hold of these people who've done well, and just to jump back on that, people say, yo, moms used to spank back in the day. They used to spank. Yeah, I got my ass whipped and I still smoke crack. So that wasn't, we be bragging like spanking was it, like that taught us. No, most of my friends were drunks on Willoughby Street, Lawrence Avenue. You know, a lot of them, not most of them, but like, what is the reason for that? Like, we need to like look at the statistics and say, what are the reasons? And where are these people that are doing good today? Because we need them. We need to call them on the telephone, send them some email, say, we need you to come back. You know, Michael B. Jordan comes back here a lot. We need you to come back and show people at Arts High that you went to Arts High and that they can become what you've become, because they need to see these examples. You know, I'm not seeing examples, you know, and I hate to stop short, y'all. I'm cooking. I love y'all. Thanks for letting me share.
You was really cooking. You was cooking. You was doing good. Thank you, Matt, for sharing. So I don't know if Miss Cecilia, or I don't know if this is Miss Steph or Cecilia from Weequahic High School. I know she said she wanted to speak, so I don't know if you on the line or you on the Zoom. So either way, if you on the phone, you can do *6. If you on Zoom, you can unmute. So, Miss Stephanie, or is Miss Cecilia from Weequahic High School? Okay, until they get in, because I know I got a text saying that you wanted to speak. Until they get in, is there someone else that would like to share?
Yeah, I forgot you raised all my hand.
You talking? What you say?
Hey, Elaine, it's Sharice. I said I forgot how you raised your hand.
Oh no, go ahead. You unmuted. Hey, Sharice, how are you?
What's up, baby? How are you?
I'm good.
Good. You look great. You're welcome. Actually, I was thinking about what the gentleman just said, and Greg, your son, as far as like accountability, right? Leadership, being responsible, you know, and purpose. And most importantly, spirituality. You know, I'm on that, Elaine, big time, because that's what saved me. And a lot of us are not responsible like yourself. You give back. A lot of us don't. A lot of us look for things. And if we don't have things in that person, it's to heck with everybody. And I think that's one of the biggest problems. Again, being responsible, accountability, giving back. That's just what I got from all of this. And I just think it's amazing that you give back. You know, I love you. Everything you do, I just, you know, cheer. I'm like your cheerleader. But when I tell you, yes. But when I tell you this is very necessary, Elaine, it is. It has changed a lot of people. Now I'm going to say this because I don't be around work like that. But the time that you started this thing, I've noticed the change in your son. He's flourishing.
Feeding his daughter right now. You see, he's feeding his dirty little baby.
Listen, God, you hear me? God.
Yes.
And we need that. And God bless you for being consistent. We need that. And that's pretty much all I got, because I got to cook too, Elaine.
Thank you. I thank you for
I love
sharing.
you. You're welcome.
I love you too, Sharice. Thank you.
Yes, baby.
This is a constituent that I met working in City Hall. I think I started, 2014? And I met Sharice and we became friends, sisters. And I appreciate you, Sharice, for sharing.
Back at you, baby. Now I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. Is there someone else that would like to share?
Yes, I just want to say hi, Miss Lee. Thank you. I love you. And I'm very interested in what's going on tonight.
Hi,
I mean, it's real
Tawanda.
positive. Hi.
And that's
I'm muting myself. That's
okay.
it.
Tawana is another one of my best friends. So again, I see that it's Ms. White, LPC. Would you like to share?
Actually, I just jumped on, so I'm not familiar with the platform.
Okay.
So I'm in the learning mode right now.
Okay, so
Thank
this
you, though.
is where we are. So I am Elaine, and I'm the founder of Like Mother, Like Sons, and we do healing through trauma twice a month. It's usually the second and the fourth Sunday. And it started because, well, I ain't gonna say, well, I started going into the schools, me and my son and 3 other women whose children were murdered. My son went because it was his brother was murdered. And then when he got shot, Gregory got shot twice. So my son Eric was murdered in 2018, but before that, Greg, which is my son who just spoke, got shot in 2017. He got shot 18 times. And then in 2018, they murdered my son. And then
wow.
March the 1st, they murdered him. And then 2 months later, they came back and shot Greg again. And Greg got shot 7 times. And the girl he was with died. And so from that, Greg was feeling responsible for their deaths because he felt like they wanted to come at him. And so what better way to, if you know, we lost 2 lives, what better way to save some other lives? If we can go into the schools and talk about it, just let them know from a mother point of view, the effects of, and you know, being, if you know, if they were gang members, Greg wasn't a gang member, but you know, it's a lot of gang members in school. So just the effects of what you do, how it affects your loved ones, right? How it affects your children or your mother that you leave behind, right? You know, because once when someone get murdered, and I'm talking from experience now, and I also
Right.
have Jackie up here, so maybe she'll want to talk too later. Her son was murdered, and talking from experience, you know, when someone get died, you know, everybody around, they doing the rest in peace shirts, they there, but when it's over, right? And I'm quite sure Lisa could attest to this too. It's not like they come back and check on you or check on their kids or be there for their kids. Eric was fortunate. He had 2 friends, James and Nafis, who was there that would go to the grave, that would be there for his daughter, but a lot of them not. A lot of them forget about him, right? And meeting other mothers that lost their children, a lot of them to me would talk to me and would grieve without hope. And I didn't feel that same grief. I didn't go through that kind of grief. I just was thankful that God gave me 30 years with Eric, right? And so with that, I believe in celebrating Eric, right? My mother passed away in 2017. I celebrate her. My brother was murdered 23 years ago. I celebrate him. And so I'm the type that go to the graves, right? We go on their birthdays, holidays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, right? And we celebrate. I go on Eric page. Hey, Eric, mommy loves you. Mommy misses you. Because I don't want them to die in vain. And so if I can help somebody get to where I'm at, right, where they don't grieve without hope, where they celebrate their loved one, because I believe we come to go, right? We born this day, we gonna die this way, but they're gonna know that we were here. And so I started this because I want to help our other brothers and sisters along, right? I want to go back to the village where I lived on Weequay Avenue. When somebody was hungry, we fed them, right? If you needed somewhere to sleep, we put you there. And so that's what this is about, the village. Today's topic was about mental health with the youth. One of the children, well, he's an adult now. He went to Chancellor Avenue. He just got sentenced to 365 years. 365 years. He got sentenced to for murdering 3 people and attempted to murder 3 others. It was also another student from Chancellor who violently beat somebody in the Essex County Jail. And so this topic was around what could we do as a village? What didn't we do as a village to stop this? Like, what could I have done? And explaining my part that I did have a relationship with them, that when something went wrong in the school, they did call Miss Lee, or even with Bayard, the one from Essex County, they would send them to Miss Lee and I would keep them company and I'll talk to them, right? With Jeremy, I would go to the grandfather house. And so what could we do as a village to step up and maybe save the next person so it won't be any tragedies coming along? If we can start a mentor group, if we can just getting up here healing with each other, right? Because it may be, like Sharice just said, she thanked me for being consistent. It's sometimes when I don't want to get on. Sometimes when I know the devil is busy and my spirit is messed up, and I fight it, and I say I have let months go by. I think the last time before this we got on in November. But I also know that maybe somebody need me. Maybe somebody needs to get up here and cry out, because we do get up here, we do cry, and we do laugh, and we do share. And so this is a village right here. It's not about the politics. It's not about religion. It's not about, we're going to get off here, hopefully, because this is how it's been. We don't get off here and we don't talk about the people. Oh my God, you see when we do, we get up here and we love on each other. And if I know somebody needs somebody that has an autistic child, I bring somebody on, right? That can talk about that. If I know somebody going through domestic violence, I bring them on and we can talk about that. So this is our healing little village. And that's, in a nutshell, that's what this all about. So I get up here and I'll let somebody share. So that's why I said, if you would like to share, you can. If it's somebody else that would like to share. But again, this is building up. This is being there for each other. This is bringing that village back. It takes a village to save a child. It takes a village to save an adult. It takes a village to save a mother, a father. And I just want to do my part. And hopefully everybody on here, we just want to do our part. I got off, cried, and came back. And that's what Lisa said. So Lisa, she's up here, Lisa James. She can tell her story because, you know, every time it's somebody new up here, it's new people that jump on. Lisa is a mother of a slain child, a slain son. Her son, no, you know, we ain't even gonna say slain. Her son was murdered in the city of Newark. She also was a victim of violence. She's paralyzed, right? So Lisa, sometimes she get up here, she cries, she have her moments, and that's what we're here for. So Lisa, would you like to share?
Hello, everyone. Yes, pretty much, I was a victim of gun violence back in 2016. Paralyzed. I'm a quadriplegic, and 3 years later, I lost my only child to gun violence. So what I did start up my own nonprofit, Hear My Cries, because I needed to be around other women that have been through what I've been through, just because I didn't want to go. I wanted to die. And at that moment, and being around other women like Elaine is doing, it gives you, it helps you get through it. You know, we know God helps us, but we also need other people that have experience in what we have been through. Your friends, your family, some of them don't get it. They don't understand. You may have conversations with them like, and they just don't get it. They know that you lost someone, but they don't understand when it was your child and it might have been their niece, their cousin, or whatsoever. It's not the same when you carried this person in your womb and you have a child. You do everything for your son. My son died at 27 years old in the hands of, for what reason, I don't know. And behind that, there was retaliations where other people got killed, and it just keep going on and on and on. So I'm just, now just doing what Elaine is doing is like, how can we get to the bottom of this? How can we have them do other things and not just want to pick up a gun or over any little thing. So that's pretty much it. We just gotta love on each other and do the best that we can and collaborate and come together. One person can do it, one organization can do it. And if any other organizations is on this line, please put your number in the chat so I can get your information so we can all try to come together as one and try to do something together. And, because Newark is a big city and we all know there's a lot of different organizations out here, but we don't know these organizations. So let's get known and let's make some noise and let's stop the killing and then let's start healing.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Sheila, I see your hand went up, but also Hunt, text me first. So Hunt, did you want to share real quick? Not real quick. I mean, you can take your time. Hunt, I know you text or you put in the chat that you would like to share. Let's see. I see Alberta Hunt. Okay, so if she walked away until she get back on, Sheila Montague, you can unmute.
Okay, I just want to share a couple of things. My son was almost killed 3 different times, 3 different places. Once in South Orange playing ball over who had next. Some guys came up that were in a gang, and they really wanted to fight with a gun over that. One time he was walking a friend to Hawthorne Avenue from the school. He got hit in the head with a gun almost in the same place. And it was a challenging time, right? Because he started, questioning God and everything else I had taught him. And the last time he was literally on my block on the way home with a friend who was coincidentally the son of a police officer. And just like from being a mother, right? That is one of the most huge things that drove me out into the community, because one night he called me, he was at a game, he said, "Ma, you know, this guy is up here." I'm like, "Who, the one who robbed you?" And it's funny because I was on the phone with a cop, just talking to her, just casually. I said, "Oh no, I gotta go." And by the time I got to University High School, it was about 15 cop cars out there, but not before I saw the kid. And I asked him, I said, "Are you coming up here, to follow my son?" And he looked at me and he said, "I just want to be his friend. I didn't know so many people liked him. I just want to be his friend." And my response was, "Well, why would my son want to be your friend?" I said, "You tried to kill him." And, and I looked at him because, as a mom, your initial reaction is to fiercely defend your child. And then I looked at him like as a person, and I said, "Wow, this kid looks like he hasn't had a meal or a bath in months." He was chain smoking and he looked like he couldn't have been no more than 14. I think he went to Hawthorne Avenue School at the time. And I say that to say, I want to share this with everybody that's on this Zoom right now. I've taught the gamut of schools. I mean, I've been a director over preschool. I've watched how young Black boys are targeted. And I think that people don't really talk about this because people on the inside, they don't have the relationships, the teachers and parents, how they used to back in the day. And they target the kids. You can have a kid that has a challenge learning. And I'm talking about, this is pre-K. I want to be clear, pre-K. This one kid could have a challenge learning, and that's why he's misbehaving. But it could be another boy that is so smart, he's bored, so he starts misbehaving. Both of those kids get targeted and fast-tracked. So by the time they get into school, the parent may not know, but those records follow them. So they get grouped in classes, and these classes already has this child grouped and already has this child in a category before they can even grow and develop into whoever they want to be. And just to take it back, right? I don't know how many of you know, but the hospitals, when you have a baby, they send that the number of Black boys that they have, they send that data to the jail systems so they know how to make projections on how many jails that they're gonna need. So I guess overall what I'm trying to say is, right, jails are big business. The same people who made money off the uniforms for jails made money off the uniforms for schools. The same people who, it's just laid. I'm trying to say it as condensed as I can, but our boys get targeted. And it's the reason why we don't have a lot of male teachers, which are sorely needed in Newark public schools, right? The teachers have a curriculum to teach. So if your child is on a 3rd or 4th grade reading level, but they're in a 7th grade class, your child is never going to set up because the school system is not designed to set that child up. Now, what I want you to look at, right, is because like right now, I'm sure many of you know that I'm running for mayor, but people don't understand as a mother, right? I've not only watched my son almost get killed 3 times, but I've also sat with my girlfriends, good girlfriends. I mean, from little Irvin Turner Boulevard Bible toting girlfriends. I've sat with them on street corners until, right, their child's brains got washed off, right, by fire trucks. And there's so much that we could be doing, but it's so hard to get on the same page because it's certain things that we don't know. Like, for example, a lot of people in our city, we have a population of over 300,000 people, but the elections get voted in by only around 20,000 oftentimes. And people don't understand how the system is set up. If you don't vote, then they don't care to serve you. And by serve, I'm talking about those after school programs. I'm talking about making sure that schools get their fair share of the property taxes. And mind you, in Newark, it's only 26% of property owners. And I'm in that 26%. So you got the entire rest of these people, the businesses that come here, right? They're not paying any tax abatements. That is the money that goes to our school system. So our schools are not going on trips, right? Trips help develop the social aspect of the kid. And that's something else I want parents to know. When you go to school, don't only ask your teacher, your child's teacher, about how they're doing academically. It's very important that you know who your child is socially in the social realm, right? And a lot of parents, because I've been teaching over 20 something years, they don't ever ask that. So you don't know if your child is getting bullied or your child is being a bully. And if you have two kids and one is each of those, they don't get raised the same. They don't get taught the same. But in the school district, they have inundated teachers so that the teachers are doing so much paperwork, right? Because the goal is not for our young boys to succeed. There are privatized prisons just as there are privatized schools. And the trajectory is to get those beds filled. I'm not telling you nothing you can't Google and pull up yourself. The privatized prisons have literally sued, right, the state because the beds wasn't filled up. When I ran for school board and I was talking about that we have three different statutes that say the federal government is not supposed to be involved in the schools. I don't know if people knew what that meant. But if the federal government is involved, like our president is just a president in name only. So you have the corporations that come together, right? The Mark Zuckerbergs, the Bill Gates, and they pick who the president is. So in doing that, if they're going to dictate our curriculum for our kids, that means that our kids don't need to be smart to work at Amazon. Because Amazon is at that table that's picking the president. They don't need to be in with FedEx. They don't need to be smart to do that. So now we don't really have anymore the gifted and talented like we knew when I was growing up at Louise A. Spencer. We don't have gifted and talented classes in our school. We have what is called inclusion. So you got all the the smart kids and with the mediocre kids, with the kids who are underachieving. So no one ever gets what they really truly need to get to the next level. Like me, I don't love math. So you want put me in a class with people doing trigonometry, I'm not going to be interested. But if you put me in a group with other kids that are on my same level, now I can ask questions. Now I don't feel a type of way. Feelings are important. Again, hear me out. I know I'm being a little long. I'm going to try to wind it up. When your child feels inadequate in school, that is the beginning of the misbehavior. That is the beginning of them getting involved in something else. Because kids are going to be cool. Everybody's going to pick their group, whether it's a goth group, whether it's a tech group, whether, like you was talking about, the drama group. I was in school, I was in basketball. I was in every kind of group to keep, myself in school and out of trouble. We don't even have those programs no more. In Shabazz, we had wood shop, mechanic shop, home ec. We don't have that anymore. And you can't pay me to say it's okay that we have somebody from a teacher, a principal, who's a current administrator here, who's had a hand in picking every single person that sits on our school board, that monitors the itemization of where that money is being allotted and where it's going, that we don't have school trips, that the Amistad Act, and I'm telling you for a fact, where young boys understand their power and who they are and who Nat Turner is, they walk different, they talk different. They have to be, you have to make sure they know their history, because the schools tell them a million different ways that you don't matter. You don't matter. The test scores say you don't matter. And test scores are not everything. It's just a tool. It's supposed to be just a tool, for teaching, honestly, but they use it to make kids feel bad about themselves. So then when your kid doesn't feel like they're doing good academically, and then it keeps going until they become a teenager, guess what? It's too late at that time. So that's how a lot of the social behaviors, become a part of what's going on. And I'm going to say that we just really need somebody that's not afraid to speak truth to power, not afraid to have the hard decisions. At the end of the day, we are women, and these are our sons. These are our uncles, our fathers, our brothers that are in the street, and they're not getting support. And that's a fact.
We're men too.
Yeah, absolutely. I was about to go there. I sit down 32 Prince Street every single Thursday night with the men who are organizing right around reentry. And they're doing a really good job in terms of organizing, demanding resources. But that's what I was about to say, as women, we have to do the same thing. Because even for our women who are coming back from reentry, right, they have different issues. Many of them are struggling trying to get their kids out of the system, right? They have mental health issues too. They need housing, and shelter and housing is not the same thing. There are resources there. 43 billion, not million, 43 billion was allotted for reentry. Why are people here coming home? About 900 came to Penn Station about maybe 3 weeks ago. Right after that, the next week, about 850 came home. They don't have anything. And again, when people say, oh, the politics is not important, or we don't have to follow the money, or you don't need money, can you still do? No, we need money. We need to have our kids going on trips, having experiences, developing themselves socially. And it's not just all about academics. We need to bring back the village, whereas we just stand for something and stand on some things and not behind a person. That is not how we're going to achieve a progression. That's not how we're going to achieve. We have to just stand on some things. And those things might be ugly. Like we might have to say, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter if such and such is in a gang. We love you, but there are other options. We might have to say, you know, okay, I need you to come off the street. I talk to guys every day. A lot of our young men feel like, you know, I was born into this. All I could do is sell drugs. It's because they haven't been introduced into different things. And the people who can introduce them to those things, and I heard someone say earlier, it's about having the experience. If you chase all of us out of the community when we're trying to help, who's left here to help? It's people that have the heart to help, but it's people who have been trained to help also. And those people are honestly just not getting the opportunity to touch and reach our children, you know? And that's something I think that everybody would want. And I'm just putting that out there to consider. I'm just putting that out there to consider. I know I was long-winded, so I'm just going to stop right there.
Thank you, Sheila. So I see that Teresa is on. She said, good evening, everyone. My name is Teresa. My organization is Let's Heal Together. Do you want to speak? She said, I'm on, but new to this group, but I'm ready. So you saying you ready to speak? And that's at Teresa on Verizon Net. Okay, so until then, Hunt, I see you unmuted. Go ahead, Hunt, you wanted to speak.
Two things, something your son has said. I don't know, this goes back when Sonia's second son was killed. Before, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Before her second son got murdered, my nephew got murdered, Marquise Harper. It was weird to me because I didn't understand it at that time. And because he wasn't a gang member. He got murdered when Mayor Baraka was principal at Central High School. They gunned him down by Dunkin' Donuts with a sawed-off shotgun. That was my baby. But it was like I was angry. I was mad. I was upset when she came in. Her son had got shot too. When they came in to Perry's funeral home for the wake, I wanted to fight. Because it was just like, I lost my baby. But me being where I'm at today, I owe her an apology. Because at the end of the day, what I found out, I was hurt by it. Because he wasn't in a gang, but he was associated with it somehow, and I don't know how, but I was angry. I had to take that anger out and listen and say, okay, why him? Because he was leaving, he got killed in March. He was leaving in April, go to college, go to play basketball. So me holding that grudge I held the grudge really till this year, and I had to let it go because it
Did
was
you talk
bothering.
to the person though, Matt? I mean, Hunt. So you saying you want to, you holding it? Did you get to talk to the person that you held the grudge against? What?
Grudge against Sonia.
Oh, wait. You, okay.
She talking about Ransom and
Yes.
Nunu.
So she's
Yeah.
saying, but wasn't that they was their friend that got killed?
Yeah.
My nephew Marquise got killed. He got
And that was her son's friend.
Yeah, they was friends since they was little kids. But I held a grudge because I looked at it, my nephew, my blood was around your son. And I felt like they didn't want my nephew, they wanted your son. But my nephew fell and the side-off shotgun got to him. And your son walked in the funeral home with crutches. I had a problem with that. But I realized what Greg was saying today, I realized certain things. Every time he say something, every time I want to meet, I listen to what he's saying and I take heed to what Greg's saying because he knows, like your son is just amazing.
Thank you.
And it was just certain things he said. I had to realize that it wasn't Sonia's fault because when you're an adult, you make your own choices. You make your own decisions.
But,
you make
Hunt, was you on that one that time when we had Kelly brother up here? Was you on that one?
I think I was.
Okay, so for the ones that wasn't, Kelly brother got on the Zoom, and Kelly was the one who was with Greg when Greg got shot the last time and she died. And he was saying that, and I was just saying how honorable he was and how the human side of him was that he didn't blame him. He came, we went to the funeral, we asked, could we come to the funeral? You know, the emotions was high, so he did want us at the funeral. Greg was locked up, me and Anaya went, we had a police escort, and we went to the funeral, in and out. But the point was, like he said, that Greg didn't kill his sister, right? If people was after him, she knew it, she was there. And so you really can't, I'm saying that to say that he was like, he couldn't be mad at Greg because he knew that his sister loved Greg, right? And so intentionally, it's like he said, he didn't do it, he didn't shoot him. And so that just, in saying that, and I'm glad that Greg helps you get to where you are.
I want to say,
it's ironic.
Tell me something that you real strong to come in to the conclusion that you need to forgive, because as humans, even it's sad that Marquise had to lose his life because he was really I knew all of them. He was a good kid and he was good at basketball and everything. But sometimes you hang with the wrong crowd and you get caught up with stuff, because even as humans, like I was talking to my mother, like if my nephew, which is her grandson, like if he get caught doing something bad and he with a specific child, us as parents and humans, we always be like, he ain't gonna be able to be around him no more. Like he because he's being a follower. But I said at the end of the day, we have to be responsible and we have to blame our own child. Like he's being a follower, he got to make the right decision, because at the end of the day, it's going to be peer pressure all around. So you can't always blame the other kid. And it's sad that Marquise had to lose his life and you he didn't get the chance to see, like, all right, maybe you got to stop hanging around the wrong crowd and you can't do this. But at the end of the day, there's no way that we can stop who our kids be friends with or who our kids be around. And even Ransom and them, they was kids. Like they did it. Everybody made bad decisions and do wrong stuff, but they was young. I think Ransom was like 21 when he died. Nunu, like all of them was like real. Now, as I look back now, like we was all around the same age, so like they was like 1 year older than me. But now when I look back, I'm like, dang, they was little kids, like, and people took it to the extreme, and it was all that whole thing was real sad because they was young as heck. But as parents, and we always say, oh, he shouldn't be with him, but sometimes we just gotta talk to our kids, and we have to instill in them that no matter what somebody else is doing, they have to have that leader instinct to not want to fit in and not want to be with the in crowd, and they have to make right choices. Like, and sometimes it's sad that when you make certain choices and decisions, it leads you down the path where there's no return. Like you won't get a second chance. Like God don't give everybody. And sometimes you because I used to ask myself that like how come my brother got shot one time and Kelly got shot one time and they died and I got shot 25 times and I'm still here. And it's like everybody always say you here for a reason. And then you look at it like, well, is that just a good thing to say? Because why they not here? Like, why they couldn't be here for a reason? And you start to question God and ask yourself all these questions, but you will never get those answers. But it's like, you just got to pray and try to instill in your kids that certain decisions you won't be able to get a second chance from, and you won't be able to come back from.
Yeah, because I used to talk, I didn't even know you knew my nephew. It's a small world. I used to talk to Marquise because like when I used to go to the house sometime, one of the Ramsons be there. I'm like, why you being with him? He not a good person. And he was like, Auntie, I've been knowing him. I've been knowing him since we was little. So I had to think back of the stuff that he used to tell me. Like, that's my friend. Regardless of what he's doing, that's my friend. And me being on this Zoom, they helped a lot because talking to you and shout out to you your poems, it make me cry, but they good poems. And I had to realize it wasn't Sonia's fault.
And so for maybe the new people that's on, Greg could y'all get to hear Greg poem in a little while that he made going through his grief. But let me say this to you too, Hunt. So I know you heard me say that we were going to the schools with Sonia, Amanda, and Ati, right? And there's some people up here that may be friends with Sonia. And so, and let me tell you how God worked. I had to go to school, and Greg and them came up there. I had to go to school for one of Sonia's sons because he was bothering my daughter. And so we went up there and we sat in the room, and the girls' emotions was high. So they let the girls leave and the boys stayed inside with the men, Mr. Thomas, the Raz, and they tried to work it out. Let it work out among the boys. And in the midst of it, Sonia came out in the hall and she was saying stuff to him. So I was taking off her earrings and everybody ran out because it was going to be a fight with her and the girls. And I was saying, no, not like that. And so I'm saying that to say, as a mother, right? When one of her sons died, the other son died, then the other son died, right? And that they were gangs. A lot of people blamed her. And if you look on Facebook, a lot of people said a lot of mean things about her. And she would come back and dispute it, But at the end of the day, I didn't have a relationship with her because of the incident that in the school, but look how we became friends, right? We became going into the schools together because at the end of the day, again, I say, we can teach our kids right, wrong, and different, but they're going to do, long as you can teach them the best that you can teach them, whatever way they turn out. But all we got to do is say, this is wrong, this is right, and we do our part. And so a lot of times they blame the parents. Sonia had to go through that. And doing this healing through trauma, to this day, she still can't get past it. She still want to be with her sons. And so to lose one son, right? To lose two sons, to lose three sons, that alone is a lot. Then to have the guilt. Because just like you, I'm quite sure your nephew, she loved your nephew as well. Right. And then to even say, have to sit back and say, oh my God, because I felt like, and I'm gonna say this. I used to say I didn't when Greg Kelly's brother got on here and he talked about how the family felt about Greg or they didn't feel about Greg. I said, well, I didn't like Kelly. And I didn't like Kelly in the beginning because people used to say, oh my gosh, she set people up. She do this, do that. And I used to think she was going to be the cause of my son's death. Look how God had it. She was with him. She was in the car with him and she died. And so sometimes it comes back around the other way. I thought it was only right for us to go to the funeral. And they had a GoFundMe up. At that time, Eric died, right? So I had money left and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put some money to her services. But her brother was like, no, we don't need it, whatever. But it was only right. And so I'm saying that to say in Sonia's defense, right? Some may say she didn't raise them right. Some may she did. Again, parenting is something not taught. We learn it as we go along. They was young, she was young, right? And I'm saying that maybe you can one day see her and say, hey, Sonia, I was going through something and I kind of blamed you. Maybe she'll say, you know what, Hunt? I blamed me too. And that's what we got to love on each other and be there on each other. And I'm glad that I put you on here every time. I'm glad Greg helped you to see that. As a mother, I always used to say when the kids get killed and they screaming and falling out in the street and the parents saying not my son, I used to say I would never get up there and do that. I would never say not my son because it's my son. It was the way it was going to be written. We didn't do the standing outside doing, and not against anybody. I didn't do the memorial outside. I didn't do the rest of the. I didn't do that because we wasn't of the street, right? And so Eric was a good kid. He worked, he did that. I'm not going to stand out here and do the of the street things and all that. And so did they say Greg was a good kid? Eric was a good kid. Greg was a bad kid. It should have been Greg. Yeah, they said that. Did I take it kind of personal? Kinda, but everybody I see your hand, Lisa. Everybody had a right to feel how they feel. I wasn't going to get up there and go fight everybody that said Greg was a bad child and it should have been Eric. I'm quite sure Greg sometimes blame himself. But again, as a people, that's why we here as a village, we want to come together and love on each other. To say, maybe one day you'll see Sonia and give a hug. With Eric's death, me and Sonia became close. I would see Sonia, the pain is all over her. I will give Sonia a hug. And hopefully after this, you can give her a hug because we live and we learn. Lisa, put your hand is up. Go ahead, Lisa. And
Yes.
I see the number is on there, unmuted. I'll call you next. Go ahead, Lisa.
Yes. So just a few things. Sonia is a sister of mine now, but when we were we were enemies, and then my child started out with her middle son. My son is Avent, who was murdered. I just want to say, things do change. I love her to death. I talk to her. I try to. She talked to me. We do things together or whatsoever. And the next thing I wanted to say is the person that murdered my son, his mother, in that summer, I believe it was August or July, I saw her. She came up to me. We had the same name. She came up to me. You remember me? Gave me a hug, gave me a kiss, playing around with me. And in October of that same year, her son, murdered my son. And at that time, after that happened, I knew this lady since I was about 9 or 10 years old. I cannot hold against her what her son did to my son. She did not raise her son to be a murderer. None of us raises our children to be murderers. Things happen. They make these choices on their own. They know what's going on out there in the street, including my own son. They know what's going out there. I had his friends come to me like, Ma, what are you going to do next? You have to continue to live because your son would not let you die. He knew what was going on out there in the street. They know who they hanging with. They know what's going on, but they're choosing to make these choices. And when they grown, there's not much we can do. We can keep talking to them. I wasn't a mother from the street. I taught my son. My son had a very good life. He didn't have to be out there in the street, but those were choices that he made. He kept a lot of things from me, so a lot of things I didn't know. And after he died, you start hearing, you hear rumors. Some could be true, some could be rumors. You don't know. But I did not know. He did not show me those things. He did not show me that, I got money. I said, well, where did he get these clothes from? I see these pictures. They said, he changed his clothes before he came in the house so you couldn't see him. I said, well, where's his friends? I don't know y'all. Where y'all, who are y'all? They was like, he said, he wouldn't bring us around you because he said his mother was crazy. So so I didn't know because he didn't want me to see that part of the life that he might have been living out there. But I just say this, that none of us raises our children to be murderers, gang bangers, or none of that. So we can't hold nothing against the mothers. That's why mothers and women do have to stand and stand together, and not taking nothing away from from the fathers that lost their children as well, what they're doing.
Absolutely. That was very good, Lisa. So you understand what we're saying?
Can I speak?
Yes, who was that saying that?
It's Sister Terry.
Go ahead. Hey, Terry.
Hi, everyone. I want to salute you for what you for what you're doing. This is well needed, and for Greg coming in, on being on behalf of a person that shot somebody, and I'm coming on on behalf of a mother that son shot someone. And I hear all you ladies, and my heart goes to you, and I'm sorry that it had to happen. But like the sister just said, the mothers, we're not accountable for what happened. But I held myself accountable for many, many years until I really started getting to God and asking him and crying out to him. And he let me know just what she was saying. I didn't put that gun in my son's hand, but being a mother, we feel responsible because, that's your child. But I felt so bad, and it happens to be somebody that knew the family. So, it's even worse when the family knows the family, everybody close, you had to see that person. And I seen his sister, and I felt so bad, me and her I cried to her, and I hugged her because, I didn't do it, but I felt accountable because my son did it. So, it is kind of painful, even though, the mother of the child, I didn't put the gun in his hand. I didn't tell him what to do. But at the end of the day, that's still my child, and he took somebody's life. And I hold that so many years. I was going through so much trying to hold it in, because I felt like I wasn't a good mother when I really wasn't, because I was out there doing drugs. I was out there doing everything that I wanted to do. And I wasn't a mother that was there holding my son's hand about everything. But I'm listening. It has been mothers that hold their hands out and do everything, and they still do it. So it's just the child, it's just the child. I'm not going to say that the devil, because I always want to say the devil, this and that. But sometimes God could be in that child, but they do bad things. So, and that's what my son did. He just did bad things because he's a loving child. Because since he got 18 and a half years, he went to jail, he came home, he went to another state, he got married, he have a son. He's a truck driver trying to get his own business, so he's doing good. But, bad things happen, and I'm not going to blame his father. He wasn't the best. I wasn't the best of a mother. We did drugs. We sold drugs, but I've seen mothers that did the same thing, and the child turned out very well. So it's the individual. But I'm learning, we do have a guilt trip because we're a mother, and it's my shoulda, coulda, woulda. But I'm just glad that, I'm listening, and I didn't want to say anything, but this is part of healing when you talk. And I'm learning that because I was the type of person that holds everything in, and I had a stroke, and I had a psychiatrist, and I was talking to her. So now I'm learning to listen and then speak, because you don't like me. It's not about you liking me. I'm going to be free, and I'm free to be me, and I'm loving who I am today because I'm free to say what I want to say. And when I say it, it's like a big load lifted off of me, if you understand what I'm saying. But I just want to come in and say, Lane, I salute you for this, what I call a podium, or whatever what you want to call. I was going to say church. It's not church.
Healing through trauma. Healing through trauma.
Healing through trauma. I salute you.
No, she was trying to say a platform. That's what she was trying to say.
Platform.
Thank you,
Thank you, my
Naya.
sister.
That was Naya. That was your niece. Thank you, niecey, Naya.
Hey, baby, Naya. Yeah. You, all of y'all, what Elaine said, what Naya said, it all comes together. Platform, healing, what you just say?
Healing through trauma.
Healing through trauma, yeah. All that is connected to one thing, and it's coming, sharing, because sharing is caring. When we care to talk about, okay, yours was your son got murdered, mine was my son was the murderer.
Yeah.
But it's all trauma. So I'm grateful to come with that. God led this for you, because this is ministry to me. You said it's not, you don't want to put God in it, but I'm telling you what I see and what I'm hearing. So, could God, continue blessing you, and people come open up and be healed, because that's what it's all about. When you share, when you care, you be healed. Holding stuff in, it's just going to cause you to have a heart attack or stroke. Ask me how I know, because it happened to me. The line is open. Thank you. I'm sharing, but what they say in the room, thank you for sharing.
So Terry is my oldest. Terry is my oldest sister. Terry, I thank you for speaking. Terry is my oldest sister. And I'm glad that, I guess, for you to heal, you had to get into the church. I'm glad you did, because even coming up as my oldest sister, and I used to feel sorry for her, because I used to say, Dad, both of her children are in jail, right? And so even if, you know, God do things for a reason, maybe they sat him down to save his life. I don't know. But I used to look at you like that. And maybe that was a part of you getting high, and that was the way you had to deal and cope. Again, I'm gonna say parenting is something that we don't learn. It's not taught. It's something we have to learn on our own. And you did what you thought you had to do at that time. I'm glad that it was removed off of your chest, the guilt, because again, like you said, you had a stroke. And if it's on anybody on here that's holding things in, sometimes you do got to get up here and talk. And I want everybody to know too, also, even with Lisa, because she does it a lot, crying helps. Right?
Yeah.
I go to the grave sometimes and I cry and I feel a relief. And so it's okay to cry. I mean, you know, we teach our men are not supposed to cry. Yeah, you do. It helps you. And so, Terry, I'm glad that you was able to share today. I love you. You're my oldest sister. I mean, you did the best that you can do, and God don't put no more on nobody than they can bear. That's what they say, right? And so we got to
can I share this? And can I share this? Because a lot of people think, you know, I don't want to go to psychiatrist. I'm not crazy. It's sometimes it's just good to vent, to get things out. Because I was the one. I don't want to go to no psychiatrist, but it's just a vent. Some people can deal with it. Some people can't. If you could deal with it, work it, because it works. You know, you just go there, cry out, talk, and you know, they get paid. They know how to deal with you. But a lot of people feel like, I don't want to go to the. But if we don't want to go, okay. But we have to talk to somebody, because when we talk, we venting out, we letting it out. You see what I'm saying?
And that's true, because Greg and Naya, they definitely won't go to the counselor, right? They say that, but what I say, what we're doing right here is counseling, right? We talking, we laughing, we crying, we sharing. And so even if we don't want to go send somebody, this is on Zoom. We on Zoom. It could be seen maybe on YouTube. And at the end of the day, I don't repost them on YouTube. But at the end of the day, all of us up here, because we don't care what people say. We don't care what people think. We sharing because this is a part of our healing. And then I say
care about healing. I care about
that's what it's about. And if sometimes, because I did have one lady get up here one time and she asked me not to release it because she didn't want to be seen. So I got to find a way to edit it. But at the end of the day, I don't care what people say. Right? Greg don't care what people say. Now we only accountable to what? God. And right. And so God is the only person that's going to judge us. And again, when I say this is not about politics, this is not about church, or that's what I'm saying. But God is in the midst of all of this. I want y'all to know that. And so never am I'm taking God out of it. I'm taking politics out of it because it's not about politics. I work for the city of Newark. I'm the chief of staff and councilman. And I'm not here as that. I'm here as a mother, as a sister, as a grandmother, as a child of somebody. And so it's bigger than politics. You understand what I'm saying? It's about us coming together to heal each other, to help my sister up, to help my brother up. You know what I'm saying? So that's what this is about. Is there somebody else that wants to say? Because I thought like I was about to go to church right there. Somebody else want to say something.
Elaine, how do I get back on mute? What I do?
I'll mute you. I just did it. So is there anyone else that like to share? Let's see what the time is. We on here from 5 to 7. We usually go over. Last time we went over 8 hours, and that's because if somebody needs to share, I will never interrupt anybody from sharing. If this is your first time up here, if you want to just say hi, we welcome you to the group. I see new names that I didn't. If you didn't want to share this time, maybe you want to share next time. But again, this group is not to go talk about anybody. I'm glad Hunt brought up today about Sonia, because we get to love on each other. We get to love on Lisa. We get to love on me, right? Like with Greg, I don't know what Greg do out on the street, right? And even speaking of Kelly mom, her son wanted her to speak to me one day and she wouldn't speak to me. I don't want to speak to her. I don't want to speak to her son, killed my daughter. I get that. And I told him, it's okay. It's okay, because at first I felt like that about Kelly, right? But it's okay. And so we all grieve in our own time. We come together in our own time. Maybe one day, hopefully, I can get to see her and give her a hug, right? Because if it was my kid, I would want somebody to do that for me. And so I see Alois. Alois, is this something you want to say? Don't hide. Okay, dig your hand, Alois. Go ahead, guys.
Yes, my love. Yes, my dear.
Go ahead. Hey, guys.
Hello, everybody. Hi, family. I just want to say once again, I just want to say hi, everybody. I love you guys. I'm in tears right now. I'm in tears because You know, Lee family is some powerful people, y'all. We are some powerful people, and trust and believe that name is going to go down in history in Newark, New Jersey. The Lee family is going to be known in the annals of history, y'all. But even though I don't live in Newark, New Jersey, I still come up. My kids are still up there. And I want y'all to know anything that y'all want from me, need from me, I will offer free services, counseling, even though I'm not actually in the field anymore, but I still have my credentials and I still have my knowledge and my skills and my experience. So y'all need me to do some volunteer work to help the kids. Trust and believe me, because besides your brother, who is my cousin, I lost 3 other cousins to death and murder and gang violence in Newark. And my stepson, my oldest stepson, was murdered, got his head blown off back in 2009 or 8 or something. So, you know, enough is enough. And it takes a village. I heard so many wonderful things here today. So many wonderful things, especially the sister that said that she was running for mayor. And your son, Elaine, who was just saying it's a collective of things. There's no one reason why somebody do something. Or if you can have 5 kids with 5 different personalities, and you and your husband could be busting hell wide open, but 3 of those kids may come out to be in the United States and the other 3 may be criminals and murders. We don't know who was put here to be an angel and who was put here to just not live that long. So you know, I was trying to remember everything that was said, a lot of things that was prevalent and just jumped out at my heart, but I can't remember half the stuff. I'm just aging now. But I just want y'all to know it's a noble thing that y'all doing, and anything on this earth, if you need from me, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I will jump on a plane and be up there like 1, 2, 3. So thank you again. I love you all, family. Thank you again, and have a wonderful, blessed.
Love you more, Lois.
Okay, so let me say this about Elois. So, and then I also have a cousin up here named Coach Tina that's up here.
Yes.
So let me tell you how God works.
Tina.
So we didn't know Elois, and I didn't know Tina. On my father's side, somebody died, and then we found out we had cousin Elois. On my mother's side, my mother died, and then we found out we had cousin Tina. And then also Romaine. I was a parent liaison with Romaine. And then when me and my cousin Denise on my mother's side, when my mother died, and she was like, oh, you have a cousin that, you know, she worked for the Irvington, and she's on the board. And I'm like, Romaine? And I'm like, I love Romaine. And even when we was parent liaisons together, I loved her. And so with God in the midst of all of this, from my father's side to my mother's side, look how he brought our cousins into our life. And so I'm just grateful for that. Coach Tina, my cousin, would you like to say something?
Hey, cousin.
God bless you.
God bless you. How everyone's doing?
Okay.
As a long time resident of Newark, I've been involved in different things, you know, and working with youth, mentoring, different programs, teen dating abuse, which is also trauma, being an educator on that. But also I have relatives who have died from gun violence, and I've seen a lot of different things. And, you know, this platform is necessary because it gives people the opportunity to come and speak about, you know, what has happened. You know, you may have someone who has killed someone, like they said, or the person the victim, the mother who had lost a child, or the mother who had child who had the gun in their hand. Well, this is definitely an awesome platform. God bless your son, because everything he has said has been a blessing. May he continue to be out there teaching and reaching other people. And I just want to ask for some advice. I have a young lady I deal with, and her children, unfortunately, is getting caught up in the street. He just got shot. He's around 15 years old. And so I'm having a conversation with her, and she has him in programs, but sometimes she gets discouraged and she just says, you know, Tina, whatever happened to him, happened to him. That's it. And I understand she's hurting, but my heart is like, oh my God, I don't want it to be whatever happened to him happened. But I guess he gets to that point, he's going to have to learn somehow. He's going to learn, but he just survived last summer. All right. So now I'm looking like, okay, he's back in the streets again. She's trying, but you know, where she is right now is, listen, whatever happens, happens. So I just want
Is
to
this
ask for
in
some
North? Do they
advice
live in
for
North?
her.
Do they live in North?
They live in North. Yes.
Okay,
They
so
live
it
in
is.
North. She just got into a program with Go ahead.
No. What's the program?
What you said?
What's the program?
She's with Tariq now. Leaders for Life.
Oh, okay. So that's
Uh,
great. Altariq,
yeah, I think
that
he
was
started.
actually
I don't
Greg
know if
Coach.
he. Yeah. Yes. So I don't know if he's still in there. I haven't asked him how it's. One second. I didn't
Okay, so
ask
let me see. So we're gonna
him
try to reach.
how. I didn't
I'll
haven't
reach
asked
out.
her how it's doing.
So I mean, maybe after this, I do know Coach White. He was actually Greg Coach. He do have the Leaders for Life up there. He's a good person. But there's also other programs like I guess the Office of Violence Prevention and what is doing in a group. Brick City Priest Collective. So sometimes what they do, and because he's in the street, is they have jobs that they can offer them. I did invite Dawn on, but she didn't. Teresa, I see you. I'm gonna call on you next, Teresa. And the hub is also good. Out to read best. So it is different programs. Maybe when we get up, I'll go with you via texting, and then we can probably hook them up because even if they can do them with a job, and that can take them off for certain things. And then he can even be a part of the NCST. I don't know, if, like you said, gangs. They put them in where they can go reach other gang members, walk out in the street and help. So we're going to try to find something from. After this, I'm gonna go into some details with you. We'll hook up over the phone. Miss Teresa.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you for sharing. Love you. Miss Teresa, go ahead.
You're
'cause I
welcome. Love you
see-
too.
All right, and Lisa, you next. I see you raise your hand again. Go ahead, Teresa. Teresa. Because she said something to get in chat, and then she texted me yes again. She wanted to speak.
I can be real quick with mine.
Okay, go ahead, Lisa, until she pop up.
So just speaking on what the young lady just said, also the mother, we need to get her in a group as well, because I've been in a group where mothers saying that they know what he's doing, what has happened, but they don't know once their child dies, it's gonna carry that pain for the rest of their life. So if we can get her some help and some understanding, and just to be around other women to let her know, don't give up on your child, no matter what they're doing out there in the street and how old they are.
Very good. Go ahead, Teresa. I just muted you because you was doing it, but I just unmuted you. Go ahead, Teresa. Teresa, you going in and out? I see you lighting up.
You hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I want to say thank you to God. Thank you to God first for allowing you to have the courage to take on this platform. And secondly, blessings to you and every woman up here that gave birth to a child that was senselessly murdered at the hands of another child. I always state that, well, my name is Teresa Ellis Wiggin. I started my own organization in 2015 due to the passing of my second child and so many others. No mother never rubs their stomach and say, my child is gonna be a murderer. So with that being said, when I hear of a child being killed, I always pray for both families, the families of the deceased and the family of the child that pulled the trigger, because each one of them, life will never return to the moment that it transpired. I have 3 children that's deceased, and my mom was murdered on Thanksgiving Day. And so when I hear the outpour of understanding of someone that took your children from y'all, it's a blessing to my ears and my soul to hear the forgiveness of the stories that's being told tonight. Secondly, No child came with a blueprint, as though being someone's mother didn't. All I can honestly say, I have raised 10 children in the city of Newark. And they went out and gave me abundance of other children that I call my bonus loves. So yes, I know a lot of children that have been killed, and I also know a lot of children that have pulled the gun. My prayers always go first to the mothers, the parents of the child, especially if they're lucky enough to have an understanding family, and they still go out to choose to make these kind of decisions. What allows them to do so, we will never know. There are demons hidden inside all of us that we wish would have never could have happened. But unfortunately, they do. I praise each and every one of y'all up here because y'all are enough of the fruit to go out in the city of Newark and do God's work. So I'm thankful and I'm grateful and I'm loving each and every one of y'all that get up here and have the strength to be able to share. Because yes, it is healing. I come from a very dysfunctional family where love was said, but love was not taught. And we have to learn the difference in between because most of us are raising grandchildren now. And my grandchildren are acting out of the lack of love from my family and myself. Do I know how to raise a child now? I do my best. Yes, and just everybody just keep on continuously doing, what you're doing. I am facing some hard times when it comes to showing my grandchildren who they are supposed to be, who they want to be, and then who society is going to tell them that they are. And those are some scary obstacles to try to achieve because I'm still battling with understanding and knowing who I am. But I don't have a problem with teaching another young woman, that her shadow is her reflection of love. And that's where it must start at, knowing and pouring into ourselves that, we have to love ourselves first in order to teach people around us the acceptance and boundary of love and the respect of love. Caduce, I was at a meeting last week with Sheila Montague, and we got to meet some coaches and some cheerleader staff members. All I can say is everything is much needed in the community. My organization has been 7 years. We're celebrating 7 years this year, and I've been doing several events, on a smaller level. God's willing, August the 13th, I just went and got the permit. I'm gonna be doing conversation dates with parents to bring different organizations to the table so that they'll know that there is such things out here, because raising 10 children, I wasn't made aware of no support groups other than DIFAS, incarceration, family turning their backs on us. And, I didn't know nothing was available. I always was inferior of being a parent that child came to tell them that they were molested, because in my home, I was molested by the man that told my mother he loved her. And every night when she would go do the 11 to 7 shift, he would climb on top of me. So I always allowed my children to bring a kid home, but I didn't trust too many. As our children go on with their daily responsibilities of going to school to get their education, we have to also understand that they're walking past balloons, liquor bottles, and candles, blessings. And, one of my grandchildren said, Grandma, I pray that one of these bottles and balloons is not me. He's 8 years old.
Yeah, wow.
So I have to refrain from doing the things that I want to do and started doing the things that impact, because where the new challenges of TV in their eyes right now. What we teach them is going to dictate how we possibly can change them going to run and hang with the thugs and the glamour, the people with the gold and new cars and all that on. I took it upon myself to make sure that raising my children, they knew what Payless was, they knew what Macy was, they knew the finer things in life, but did we always have them in our house? No. I knew what a pack of llama beans was instead of a lobster. They know these things, but I had to show them the skills of survival. Did they always want to listen to me? No, they didn't. But, I did the best I could. And I look back now, some of my children are one and done parents. They said they're never going to do it again. And I look back at Family Portraits, which I took pride in, making sure that they have a legacy of pictures to explain not only the dysfunctional part of our lives, but show the times that we came together as a family. And, the pictures will tell the stories of that moment. When we know better, we have to do better. And I say this because I am a resident of Bradley Court, and I take on so many broken women and men and trying to allow them to understand, that there's an outlet somewhere out there with their name on it, and lights, action, and camera is upon them stepping up to the plate. But when most of our children only sing because I normally get the kids 4 or 5 years of age and up. When I get to them where they start to understand and listen to me, the fruit already has been rotten. And so I try my best to reach out to some people. I am blessed to have Alterique Anque on my side. I am blessed to have Alterique Best on my side. I was blessed to have Earl Best on my side. I do know some of the people that's making a difference in the impact in the city of Newark.
Yes.
Dennis Porter, I salute him on a regular.
Yeah.
My daughter, when she was diagnosed with cancer when she was 18, she like, "Ma, I don't want everybody to know that I'm doing chemo and radiation." She said, "Because I don't want that fake sympathy that comes with the smock of being a cancer patient." And she was still in school. That was her last year. So, I did what she said. Mom is the word. And I swore all her siblings to the same thing. Who she wants to know will know. Don't neither one of y'all utter, mutter, or stutter to anyone. So we went through the first trial by ourselves, secluding ourselves to just trying to get her stronger. It came back 18 months later, and it will be a sentence for death the second time, even though we were still optimistic and thinking that it was a miracle out there with our name on it. It wasn't, and things happened. And they told us we had 1 year to digest, adapt to it, and get ready for it. So she didn't want to go through the trials that she went through the first time. And so we immediately went over and signed her over to hospice, and we learned so much stuff from doing so. And then we had to fight with the hospital because they didn't think that she was competent in making a decision to walk away from any trial testing and all that. She said, "Mom, I died. They already gave us the sentence. I want to go home." So we brought her home, and it was the best 7 months of our lives.
So is that included as your third child? Because you said you lost 3?
Yes, I just recently lost one, December the 19th. My last son by birth, he passed away in his sleep, 35 years of age.
Oh, wow.
And so, we was just starting to go back out into society and starting to let our guard down when it came to loving people. Because when we told our family and everyone that she had cancer, you would have thought it was something that they could have contracted, because no one came to say, here, go walk around the block for a minute, get a breath of fresh air. We literally brought her home and we all went into doctor and nurse mode to learn everything that we could to give her one more day. If they said she can live 1 year,
Wow.
to
Teresa,
do so.
yeah,
Yes.
you went out for a second. Teresa,
Yes.
okay, you went out for a second.
Oh, I apologize. Okay.
No.
So, so we did what we had to do, and we're thankful and grateful for every moment that we spent with each one of them, and trying to get people to understand. Some people said I was selfish. Some people say I should have let them know, but letting them know the second time around didn't change anything. People still wasn't there for us. So, we
And
just
whoever
like
was there was meant to be there. That's how that goes.
and that's all. And I'm thankful and grateful to those because I built some relationships with people that I met in the hospital while she was in there doing her radiation. I met some people in the waiting room that was waiting for their loved ones, who some of them is still here and some of them has transitioned. And we've been each other's support system from the day we met in the room waiting for them to come out. So I'm never holding anyone else hostage of the situation that I had to encounter on this earth, because it made me a better mother. It made me a better human being. It made me a better person to love on someone else that's going through certain situations. I even went to court with my mother's murderer, which was her boyfriend at the time. And I told her, like to tell
Teresa, you said you told the judge. We heard you there.
I told the judge that I forgave the man that put his hands around my mother's throat and killed her on Thanksgiving Day. And it messed up my relationship with my siblings because they said I should have told them that I was going to say something like that. But I'm my mother's oldest child. I know my mother loved this man. So I'm not going to make y'all feel better by making myself feel bad.
So let me ask you a question. So it was
Yes.
domestic violence?
Yes.
Okay, so you forgave her because you forgave him because, like you said, you knew she loved him.
Right.
So let me ask you something. So listening to you, this is my first time meeting you, and hopefully we can meet at City Hall so I can get to see how you look and know you. How do you deal day to day? Is it crying? Is it praying? What gets you through?
Well, in my home, I have pictures of me and my mom. And so I talk to my mom like she's still existing on earth to me, but I know she had transitioned, but I still talk to her and call her, her name out several times. My 3 children, I have blankets and pillows that my children that I was blessed enough for them to order for me. So I walk past my beautiful children smiling, and pictures of me and them when I was nurturing them. And I'm a recovering addict. So I also, as not being the on-time mom, I fell short sometimes during their lives, but you wouldn't be able to see it because I played my position as best as I knew how, because my mother was very depressed and she was always not caring for us. So I did the best that I knew how, and I forgave her and not knowing how. It wasn't until after she was murdered that I had to review some of the times in our lives when I had to help her be the woman that was our mother, and that helps me become a better mother now, because my children, after this third death to their third sibling, which I express to them every day, I don't know what it is to lose 3 siblings. So I can't possibly tell y'all I want y'all to be strong. No, but I do want y'all to be human. And if you need to be weak while doing so, I'm here for y'all.
Absolutely. And in that, all we could do is pray for them. I say that to my kids too, right? I say that to my kids when they're going through, and all I could do is pray for them. I would love to meet you. Also, I want you to know, or even Jackie, that's still up here, anybody that's up here, this is not about I, this is about we. So Naeem did the thing when you come in, the display, I posted pictures of my brother, Kelly, my mother, and Eric. I put in the chat if y'all want to send me pictures that I could post y'all loved ones on here too as we display, because it's about us, it's about the village. And so again, if you want to send the pictures of your children, or Jackie, if you want to post your son, Naeem just put it, he about to share the screen. See how he put this up here? Here. Do y'all see the screen?
Yes.
So that's Kelly, who died in the car with Greg. That's my son Eric. That's my mother next to him. And then that's my brother. So moving forward, if anyone want to send pictures of their loved ones, because we are a village, send me the village. Send me the photos. Greg, is it you ready to do your poem? Again, Teresa, I really thank you for sharing. You really are going through and went through a lot, and I thank you for your strength, right? I just want to encourage you. I'm here for you. You can get my number. I will put my number in the chat. If you need to talk, cry, laugh, at the end of the night, I didn't get to experience all the deaths that you have. But I did lose my mother, my brother, and my son. And then I, worry about Greg every day, not knowing what's next for him. And so, like Whitney Houston's song, and you proved it, I believe that we are not built to break, right? And we got to be each other's strength. And if we need to fall sometimes, we got to be there for that too, right? So if you need to fall, I'm here to pick you up. And if I need to fall, hopefully you can pick me up and everybody else is on this line. In closing, and if unless somebody want to say something else, Greg. Okay,
let me
say,
I got one more thing. Two of your people from the first group that your first platform that I came to, two of them called me, and one of them was interested in my services, and she didn't have. I told her I don't take insurance. What I do coaching doesn't take insurance, but I was willing to work with her.
Okay.
And I am willing to work with people who don't have no money to help. But I mean, if somebody can afford to pay little, I will slide in scale fee. I will slide you down to your ankles if if you can't afford to pay for services. I can't do everything for free because it'll be too many people and I'll be overwhelmed. But I am willing to offer my services to men, women, children, because I truly believe it. I want to say this to your son lastly. You never know what your purpose is until you're walking in the purpose. And for me, listen, y'all don't even know my story. I haven't even told y'all don't know my story, but I got a story to tell. And trust and believe me, everything that has happened to me, now I understand because I'm walking in purpose. I wouldn't have been able to help gang members if my children wasn't out there doing what they were doing. If I wasn't out there running, I wasn't a gang member, but I was running around with them. If all that stuff that I've been through, I would not have been able to help the people that I'm helping today had I not had that experience. So you never know what your purpose is until you start to walk in it, literally. So I'm here. I'm here to help any shape, way, shape, or form that I possibly can in terms of counseling, coaching, or whatever. That's all I have to say.
So you do the coach, because I jumped on University Hospital, they do it too. Greg was a part of that program, and I did it on Wednesday. They do groups. Greg and I didn't get on a couple of times, and I got on twice, but they also do family. So do you do family and do you do groups as well?
I can do family. I've done family counseling for 10 years of my life, whole families, like 5, 6, 7, 8 members, groups, children, pregnant, postmortem moms. I worked for DIFAS for 15 years. I worked in the prison system for 7 years with gang members, like in there counseling them. And so I have my experience. I have my skills and my experience.
Okay. So we'll put that out. And if you remember the 2 names later, text me on my phone and I'll reach back out to them and say what you said. And guess what? If I got to do a fundraiser, we want, because it's a part of the village. So if they couldn't and I could give it up, then that's what we'll do. Okay.
Yeah, I told one of the girls that because she was saying she didn't have the money. I told her, okay, I didn't hear back from her. I told her we could talk. You can call me. We could set up a time, maybe once a month or twice a month. We could talk. I told her that, but I didn't hear back from her. The other lady was talking about, you know, paying or health insurance and things like that.
So we'll just text me their names later. I know one, Dime, who was on here. I don't know if it's her Diamond, but she did. She was supposed to get on last Zoom, but she wasn't able to. She's working. She started counseling. She said she came into a lot of she started doing good, and so she was able to get a job to do the counseling. So hopefully, if it's her, if not, we'll find out and I'll put you in contact. But I appreciate you saying that.
Okay, no problem.
Okay,
all right,
Greg.
I always do the other poems. I'm gonna do this one. This is called The Conversation. Is if I was able to have one more conversation with my brother and Kelly, this is I wrote as if I was talking to them and they was talking back to me. I said, damn, Eric, we was on FaceTime for over an hour. I wish you would have listened to me and moved from that house, but you said no. I should have been more persuasive. I should have made it my priority to convince you to go. Greg, you can't keep that on your heart. I'm a grown man and I make my own decisions. And no matter how much it hurts, everything's written and you know we can't question God's vision. Yeah, Eric, everything is written, but the choices we make may alter the outcome. And if I would have made better choices, you'll be here dropping knowledge on young fathers, but now Imani's forced to live without one. Greg, I know how much you love me, and mommy raised us with love. And mommy raised us with love, so I will love you through anything unconditionally. And no matter what decisions you think you made, I know your heart, and I know you would never hurt this family intentionally. But Eric, you're my big brother, and I was supposed to protect you. And no matter what I do, I can never make this right. Sometimes I feel like giving up. My heart and brains hurt. I can't even sleep at night. Greg, stop that weak shit. Don't let the devil win. You can't change the past. You only can impact tomorrow. Be there for my daughter, provide for the family, and do something positive, like glorify me through your pain and sorrow. You right, Eric. I'm going to pray for the serenity and courage to be a better man. I know I used to play with you a lot, but since you've been gone, I listen to your lyrics and I'm your #1 fan. Greg, I love you. But before I go, somebody wants you. Hey, Greg, it's Kelly. I love you and I look down on you every day and I see how bad you're taking it, but I want you to know I don't blame you. I wish I was there on earth to see Yazi grow up, but Greg, it's so much fun being an angel. Kelly, I miss you so much. There's no words to express how much pain I feel. You was there for me every day, helping me cope with my brother, and now you're gone. My heart would never heal. Greg, I always told you were the strongest person I know. You took all them shots to survive, so God has you here for a purpose. Keep my name alive. Don't let me die in vain. Make it all worth it. Kelly, I will keep your name alive and you will live through me. I will keep you on my heart and mind until I leave this earth. I want you to know you were the best friend I had in 28 years, so to have you and lose you was like a gift and a curse. Well, Greg, just look at it as a gift, because I will be your angel and watch over you forever. And where I am, we all got to go. So one day, me, you, Eric, and everybody we love will all be together.
Yes, yes. Now I see Jackie. Jackie shared her screen with her son, and I did get that shot. Jackie, would you like to say something? Because you didn't speak today. And Teresa, I see your son. So if you could, Teresa, you know how to share your screen so Naeem can take a picture of it?
No, that's her camera.
Oh, that's her camera. Okay.
Not really. I'm just been listening all evening. The last couple of days I've been going through, it's been 28 years and like everyone say, you don't get over it. You just, you go through. I just thank you, Elaine. I thank you for meeting you. I thank you for bringing me to this every month, when I don't think I need it, I do need it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Wow. So today, so Ms. Teresa, don't forget, if you could send me the picture so I can post that. I just admitted someone into the group. I think that's the teacher from Weekway. Could you unmute? You unmuted? Okay. No, she's not.
She just talk. Let her talk. She is unmuted.
Okay.
She's unmuted.
No.
973. She is
I think it's that 142. The 142 number, can you unmute?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. She's unmuted. She just needs to talk.
Oh, mine, she's still muted. Is a number unmuted? There's a 973, it ends with 142. Are you trying to
It's
speak?
Auntie Terry.
Oh, okay.
No, that's Auntie.
I'm gonna mute her. So the 412 number that just got on, you wanted to speak? That's the teacher from Weekway that I was talking about.
Yes, Naya. Yes, Naya.
No, she thought you was, we heard you moving around, so I muted you, Terry. Okay, so I don't know. I know she just got back on. The teacher from Weekway, I want to say the social worker, or the guidance counselor from Weekway. But if she can unmute the 412 number, if you can unmute, it's *6 or #6.
I think it's *6.
I think it's #6. But okay, so other than that, yes, hello. Hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry about this. I'm always commuting back and forth, so I was on the train, and it was such positive information and insightful information. I'm one of the school social workers, Stephanie Whitestraw. How's everybody doing?
We're great.
Okay. I'm sorry I can't see you all. I just want to see see you all. But I know the part
On the
that
phone?
I
You on the phone? You on the phone?
I'm on the phone. I'm 412.
Okay, so you didn't join Zoom. You didn't do Zoom? Okay.
No, it lets you do it through your phone.
Okay. Do you have Zoom
Yeah,
downloaded on your phone?
I'm trying to download it now. I only have WebEx on my phone. That's probably why.
Yeah, because if you have the Zoom, if you have to have the Zoom app. So you got to download it, and then so next time you just download it, and then when I send you the link, it'll click you right open. But go ahead, just
It'll
share.
put me right in.
Let's share.
Okay, I just wanted to say that I know that when I started 22 years ago, and I'm not going to make it so long, but one of the things is that I know the new thing is with us being out on remote that we had a lot of, we're coming back with so many issues that are going on with our families and our students. But I make sure during the day I have 4 SEL groups where the students are able to come. I call it like a drop-in room, a TLC room, almost like, a commuter space. I have to get a small refrigerator where they have the care rig. I try to buy as many comfort foods and snacks. I try to come in at 7:30, so I have office hours, and I don't leave right away because my kids are older. I have a 28-year-old and a 24-year-old, and what I try to do every once in a while is like maybe have dinner with the students as well, because not all the students are going to do sports, and because I have that type of time, I'm trying to get the other 2 guidance counselors. Now they call them school counselors now. So it's 3 of us in the office of student life. And I think when they know that you're going to be there, it's almost organic that they drop in, and then you can, be more helpful. But when you're a school social worker on a, the child study team, you have a smaller caseload. So like, for example, if Weekway has 300 students, I might be the social worker for like 200 students, but the other social worker, Ms. Harrison Bullock, she has a caseload of maybe 100 students. You understand what I'm saying? So it's easier for you to manage, and it's 5 of them on a child study team, so they may have 20 students that they are responsible for. So that's why it was so powerful with you and the women that came for the Women of Worth conference to come, because more impactful for us to do many people at one time. And so in hopes that when you bring the services to the students, that they sign up and they realize that it's almost like, you want to make sure that they know, in addition to, these 1-800, I'm not feeling good and suicidal, and I'm not making any small feat of that they know that there's other outreach organizations and people that are out there for you. And it's so important for that to be impactful and that to be on a continuum. But when I tell you that when you have 25 students per group, you still want to be personable with each student, because everything doesn't fit everybody. And everybody's trust in people that, like myself, isn't the same. Everybody's path to school isn't the same, and everybody's journey isn't the same. So, and then when you start talking to the students about how many people have lost people throughout, not just from COVID, but just how many people have lost family members through violence, and how our young ladies are becoming almost numb in their teenage relationships at not realizing their worth. It's important work. It's important work. I've done this work for 22 years in the school setting, and this is definitely different. Definitely different. And I even also go try to do, I got this from my cousin who does telehealth. He said, even though you guys are back to school live, still offer them to get online with you, even though you're not working, for example, on Saturday or Saturday or Friday evening. Just see how many students come. Do you know a lot of students that get online with me or on WebEx? You know what I mean? So, the need is there, and even though we're spending our money, like, remember, I'm not the budget person. I'm in a specialized area, but sometimes I talk to my mother, who's a former teacher as well. She said, all those programs, I'm listening. I know most of you guys are coaches and definitely students of the Newark Public School as well. All these outlets that used to be there are not there as well. So it's just so important for them to know that, I think I'm repeating myself, that,
No,
it
you're
may
doing
not
good. You're doing
have,
good.
yeah, you're not going to always be able to go to a rec center, but it's there. But it may be named something different. It may be named Elaine Lee. It may be named She Mentoring. It may be the Shani Baraka Center. It may be, and then within that, other people have their other avenues. It's important. It's just, the work is endless. Just let me tell you. I can almost do this 7 days out the week.
Well, that's a blessing. So I
I
want to say
can.
that. So she had me come to, so the principal, who is now the principal at Weequahic, which is Mr. Thomas, was the principal at Carver. And so my cousin was having a little situation with her daughter. And so she called me about it. And I'm like, well, let me reach out to Hollis. And she was like, that's not the principal. So I go online and I see that it's Thomas. I'm like, oh my God, that's my man. I love Thomas. Because I met Thomas at Central when my nephew was there and I was raising him. And my nephew used to get in things. Thomas was the vice principal. And so I already formed a relationship. And I did 2 events at Carver. Remember I said we made Sonia, my son and us, we went into the school. So I did 2 events there. So when I called him, he thought I was calling about that. He was like, oh my God, it's Women's History Month. I want you to come. So I did 2 at Carver. I did University, which was my first. And I did the school in the Marion Bolden Center for the children who dropped out of school. And when I say Weequahic, so Weequahic was different. So usually you go, you talk to everybody in the auditorium. I did Marion P. Thomas with Nixon, and they had everybody come in the cafeteria. But Weequahic, they did it different. They had you in classrooms. So they had booked me for 3 sessions. And so we had groups of girls. The first one was the first group. And it was, Weequahic was the school that, because when we go, they usually cry, but Weequahic school was like really overwhelming. Like when I tell you that when I first came in, my first session, the girl said, didn't you was at Carver? Oh, y'all better get ready for some tissue because we about to cry. I remember them. And so I showed the video because me and Eric did a video called Animal. And so I showed that video. He did poetry on it. I did the poem and they were crying. Right? Well, I had Jamila like pointing to different ones and I had to go hand them the tissue. Afterwards, and then IT ended up coming in on the second maybe the third. She came in on the third session, and she talked about her son dying and how she was a gang member, and they were crying. They came, they got our numbers, you know. And when you can see a girl break down and cry, whether we talking about molesting, being molested, I said, raise your hand. And even at university, when I first said, how many people lost someone to death, getting killed in violence? How many are bullied? About time I asked all the questions, the whole auditorium was standing up. Only thing that I didn't do at university that we should have did is have more guidance counselors on hand, because they broken. They crying. I talked about how when you got to come to school after you lose a loved one and they want you to continue to do work and you can't function. When I tell you that the students are crying, and so they really need help, right? And listening to, what's your name again, Miss?
I'm Stephanie Whitestroud.
Miss Stephanie, listening to Miss Stephanie, and this is what we're about the village. I'm definitely going to get you some, what you call comfort food. We're going to speak so I can come and donate some food up there for the students. If you want to give them the flyer to this Zoom, we could jump on. I also did Healing Through Poetry. One time the mayor got on, we got up here and did some poetry, because a lot of children do poetry. And so it's Healing Through Poetry. So whatever we can do, and I'm quite sure other people on this line, whatever we can do to help your children at Weequay, with the ones that you got to counsel and talk to, whether it's donate the comfort.
That's right.
Come up there and have sessions. I'm quite sure Principal Thomas will let me do the sessions. I told him I was gonna come back with my son, because we did it with all the girls, but I need to come back with Greg because the guys can relate to Greg. They see Greg with the tattoos and the jewelry. When we did it, when I tell you they gave Greg their numbers, right? And they call Greg, we need that. And one thing about Greg, which is real, he's still grieving, right? He still have anger. He's still angry. Like we could forgive and say we don't want the killers to die or get punished, but we human. And so some days you're gonna wake up and like, why me? Or some days you're gonna wake up mad at them. Some days you're gonna wake up like, I can forgive him. I wrote a poem like, you know, maybe God, it was called What If? And I think, can I share that What If? Would it play? Could you do that with a video? And at the end, it said maybe God meant it that way, that I'm in the situation that I'm in. You know, God.
But I'm a vessel. But I'm a vessel.
And so. Okay. All right. So yeah. So definitely, if it's somebody that want to donate to Weequay with the little, and you said you do the comfort food, and I'm gonna say this because a lot of kids don't eat. So I went to, before I came to Weequay, I went to Shabazz for Women's History, and a couple of the girls I gave their number to. One girl called me, she texted me one day, and actually I thought it was the other girl because I gave out 3 of the numbers, and she texted me and asked me, do I have Uber Eats? And I said no. And no, she said, can I get her some food? And I said, how can I do that? And she said, do you have Uber Eats? And I said, no. And I said, well, I don't have any money at this time. I said, but I'm gonna see if I can get you a gift card. So I went and got her a ShopRite gift card for $25, called the person at Shabazz, because sometimes you just don't want to overstep. So I reached out to Nixon. He used to work there. He told me to reach out to the other teacher who brought us there. And I wanted to make sure it was okay that I can give her this gift card. So she was like, yeah, you know, some kids will take advantage, right? She said, but it is okay. So I called them and I told her, was she in school? And I met the parent liaison and gave it to him. So when he called me, he said, did she get it? She got it. And I said, he was saying something about, you know, I said, she didn't say thank you. So he was like, well, you know, she didn't text me. And sometimes we got to teach people how to treat you. So I was sending out the link today and I sent it to her. And she said, do you have Cash App? And I said, yeah. Wait, listen. I said, yup. And she said, can you send me $20? And I said, no, I can't. And I said, but let me say this to you. I said, when I came on my way and I brought it to the school, I said, you didn't even reach out to say thank you. You didn't text. And I said, and sometimes this got to be taught. And I said, and I don't want to feel like that I'm being used, right? I said, I'm reaching out to you because I care. So she said, well, she texted back and said, I didn't ask you for money. she said, but she said, I was the one that when you were reading, you called me up to hold the book while you was reading. And she said, and this is what she said, and I related to you because my mother died as well, right? And I related to you. And I said, and I said back to her, oh, I didn't know which one you were. I said, I thought you was one of the other ones. I said, but you didn't ask for money. I said, but you asked for food. And right, and this is how you got to teach somebody. I said, now, if you want to text, we can text. I said, I'm gonna text you when I get late. I said, but I'm trying to form a relationship with you. I don't want to feel like you're taking advantage of me and you just want to get money, because that also happened with one of the girls that got on from the Zoom previous. And she said, yeah, Lois, she was on, when she was saying that she wanted to be emancipated. She hit me up, could you give me $20? And my boyfriend wanted $20 and I gave it to them, right? But I gave it to them because when you come back the second time to ask, I'm gonna be like, you didn't even give me the first one, right? And you gotta teach people to treat you. So I'm gonna give it to you just to see, because maybe you are hungry, but when you come back and you just asking and you not wanting to have that conversation. So we did the good little conversation. I said, so when I get off later, I'm gonna text you. She said, okay, what time? And so we're gonna talk about it. I have no problem with giving, right? But don't, and that's what the college council said at Shamad. Some people will take advantage of you. Some people will just say, I want to get, but I can't really decipher it because I don't know. So that's why I sent her that $25. And when I did the $20 gift card, I did it because now you can go shopping for somebody in your house. But we can text, because we can text and form a relationship. And no, I will send her the $20. And my other mentees, some need their hair done, I will send them. So it's really not about that. You can know if somebody using you or not, right? You can give to give. I get people hair done and nobody really know it, but I do that because of my heart. But you also got to teach them how to treat you. You also got to say, oh no, you just ain't going to keep getting this and we're not going to have no conversation. And you're going to keep saying, Ms. Lee, can I get? You need to give me something back. So we need to have a little counseling session, right? If we need to talk about how was your day in school today, you get what I'm saying? That's a part of being a part of the village. And so if I can go to the store and donate to the people at school, because I know like your comfort foods may mean they need something to eat in the morning. Some people look for school so they can eat. But we also got to let them know, we got to bring them, and I'm saying that to say, y'all, sometimes we got to send them down as a little sister and check them and say, hey, you're doing this, but this is, we got to do it this way. So if there's anybody on here that would like to donate, yeah, what you saying?
And then Lee also too, and I like what you're saying, because see now, because of that conference itself, because it was going on all month, now Greater Life across the street has, they did a paint and chill that I forgot to put in the Google Classroom to spin that flyer around. And see, they also have a food bank on Wednesday. And when we say we're opening up our principals and our administrators and say, you know what, maybe mom can go across the street, or auntie, or maybe that particular church or masjid can say, you know what, we're going to have an evening food bank, because I donate over there, knowing that if it's going to come right back to the same families that we're servicing, that this would be a great way of the students being like, well, you know what, I'm going to go across the street and shop at Greater Life, pick up that, get, somebody else gave me a gift card, because some of us do keep gift cards, because I had to stop with always doing money, because you don't want that to be like, somebody turning around, you're soliciting and they're buying something different from what they're saying that they need the money for. So you definitely your network is your net worth in the village, But go ahead.
Also, I'm looking it up. If you have a family at Weekway that need of this, because one of my old principals, vice principal, she couldn't get on today. And she sent me a little text like, oh God, I know I haven't been on in a while. So what she said is, oh, Elaine, for the past few times, I haven't been able to join. I feel bad. If you know of a family that really in need, let me know. I have a gift card from ShopRite. So,
oh, that's nice.
Let me know. I'll get that gift card for you, for the students at ShopRite. But also too, the city does a program I want to say it's once a week, usually on Wednesdays, and I'm gonna try to get you that flyer where they will shut down the street and have boxes of food, and the families, you can pull up in the car, pull up with the cart and get the boxes of
Oh,
food.
it's the pull-up site. Okay.
Yeah, they said the food is really fresh. They get different, they give you like meals. So it's from Hello Fresh.
Like a
So I
HelloFresh.
will, yes, Hello Fresh. So I will get the information and make sure I send that to you in your email too, text as well. So some of the families that don't have enough to eat, they can do that too, because it's at different locations. So if it's a location in the South Ward or whatever wards, I'm gonna just send it to you so they
Okay.
can do it that way. I'm definitely gonna reach out to you Monday so I can come get you some, maybe I'll just do the gift cards. Would you prefer, the gift cards instead of us bringing the food? Because I really don't know what you want. So I'm
Well,
thinking.
you know what? Then maybe the gift cards will be good, and then
Okay.
we can include Mr. Nose too, who's the parent liaison.
Okay.
She's on the same. I'm in room 105. So when you come in the front of the building, when you go down the stairs, I'm to the right, and they moved her down there too, which is good, because she's right there, I think, in room 104.
Okay.
And right next to the attendance counselor, because this is a conversation, like you said, that's going to be ongoing. It's how we coordinate with each other and how I can be helpful as well if I know something.
And you know too,
yeah.
when we was doing the sessions, and then I'm gonna just say this, and it's about race. I want to say, was she Scottish? It was a white woman that when we were in the room, and we was talking about dying and they trauma and different things, and she stood in the room, right? And I was going to show them a video of Greg when he was singing, did a video, a rap about his pain, right? And when I went to put it on, and I was like, oh my God, the white woman is in the room. I don't want her to feel uncomfortable, because this, as a culture, this is what we used to, right? And
That's
so
right.
I got up to the smart board and I was trying to put it in, and I was like, oh no, I can't even get it in. Nope, it ain't even going to do it. One of the girls jumped up and was like, yes, you could. Here we go. And she pushed the video on. And so the second session came in, the white woman came in again, and she stood there. So Jamila looked at me and said, look, she was crying, right? And so afterwards,
Wow.
because they let the teachers use a different room, one of the teachers came up to us. She was saying, the white woman was talking, and she said, I'm not from here. I forget what she said she's from. She said, but I was so hurt because this is their reality. I got to see firsthand, this is their reality. She went and told the teacher who classroom it was. She came to us and was asking us, could we come back? Because she has a class of boys that are gang members, and she would want them to hear our story. And so you never know how our pain, right, can affect someone. Now
That's
she got
right.
a firsthand look at, like, this is what they go through every day. This is how these children feel walking in off the street, not knowing if you're hungry, if you just
But
lost
you gotta
someone.
respect me before you teach me.
Yes.
You have to respect me and know where I'm coming from, even before I even get a chance to teach you chemistry or history. And I think that what happens is that you don't have a common ground yet. So when you can break somebody down to that level, to letting them see that this is where my reality is, and you may not have known that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people come into schools, thinking that they're going to save someone. Sometimes people have that mentality, not realizing that you're being saved, or
Yes.
you're changing your view, your point of view of how you're looking at children of color. Social
Yes.
emotional learning isn't just a term; it's something that we dealt with for 400 years. It's not a new term, and it has to be something that's culturally sensitive. We can't just call perform care and expect that they're going to send people out to our homes that are going to look like us. We have to be able to be that sensitive and that intentional in what we do.
Absolutely. So now we're winding down. I think we had 38, we down to 16. And that's wonderful because, so this is 3 hours later and 11 minutes. And again, I say I would never just cut it short. I mean, I pay for Zoom, y'all. every month, $74, and they take it out. So we're gonna get our money's worth, okay? So we're gonna get our money worth and we can stay as long as we want.
You should be able to get on for free. Ask them how. I think if you go under the guise of education, I found that out.
But I
You
think
guys
it'll only allow you certain members. So I got with 100, and you can post it on Facebook and YouTube and it's different things. So I wanted the best. So what am I mixing? So the next Zoom, Naeem gave me the paper that I got 3 things to mention. The next Zoom will be, it'll be 4/24, which is on the Sunday, but that's Anaya's birthday. So I got to see how we're going to do that. But my daughter Naya, her birthday is that day. So we're going to see. But technically the Zoom is at 5. So maybe we just get in and get out. Naeem, you can share it and post it. He did a thing today. So get in the camera. This is Naeem. I want to show y'all Naeem. That's Naeem. He is one of my students from Chancellor. He was there in the 3rd grade. He used to be a part of he was one of the little children that would act up. And when he would act up, Mr. Fisher, the principal, would be like, okay, go be with Ms. Lee. And so he ended up with me a lot in the classroom. And then his grandmother would pick him up and she would get off a certain time. So she asked me, can I keep him? And he would stay with me in drama club. And so from 3rd grade to now, I will then get him. He would come be with me. I love him like my son. So he is one of my many mentors that, and he's good with technology. So he hooked all this up for me. So he then got this thing where you could text 833-315. He's going to put it up here, 0445. And you text Adonis and it will show you the upcoming events. So it'll say like Mother Like Son, upcoming events is, so he created that today. He created this. Look at the gate. Okay. So we'll do it the next time. So wonderful. He want me to say happy Easter to everyone. But again, that's Naeem. And again, I'm doing my part in the village that I keep him around, right? I love him like a son. He loves me like a mother. You know, at one point, I think his mom started getting a little jealous, but I'm not trying to steal nobody's child, right? I demand what I can get for him, right? Like now he got Section 8, right? He works with us for the city. My councilman is actually stepping down. And so we will have to switch jobs. God made it where though he was able to get Section 8. So even if he go work at McDonald's, he still can keep an apartment. And that's my part in being a part of his life, to make the best that I can get for him and to mold him to be all that he can be. So probably I want Naeem to know that I love him. I know he loves me. Again, this is where we all find a child, even if it started the 3rd grade and up, and grab somebody and get a hold of them and bring them into our life. Naeem is Greg and Anaya's brother and sister, right? That's Greg and Anaya is his brother and sister. That's they thing. They get Naeem get into something, they get upset. What? They ready to run for Naeem. And that's what we got to do. And there's so many more of them out there like that. So rather if it's Weequay kids and if we can get a group with the Weequay kids and we can all jump on here and maybe somehow lend a hand. That's what this is about, being a part of this village. I thank everyone for coming out. Before we close, Crystal's going to close us out in prayer. Before we get off, is there anyone that want to say anything else? I see Everett up here. I thank you for coming on. Viola, I thank you. Crystal, Coach Tina, Jackie Bundy, Teresa.
Elaine, I want to say something. Can I say something before you close out, please?
Yes, you could. Go ahead, Terry.
Okay, I'm just asking you. I know who you are, but you're saying that you have to pay $79 a month. If everybody that's, getting something out of this, what you call it? Platform. Can you please donate? Do you mind, Elaine, or no?
No. So I appreciate you saying that, Terry, but this is my blessing from God. And so he was able to bless me with this. I think later, because I was trying to think, even with my business, how would I make money? So later, maybe I'll do like a motivational speaker going into the schools, because I don't even really know how to charge them because it's in my heart. But I appreciate that. But God put this together. Right.
Okay.
And so God bless me. As long as God blesses me to have this job, is no burden on me. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm just going to do more events. Sharice, I see your hand.
That's why I asked you, did you mind? That's why I asked you, did you mind?
I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you. Go ahead, Sharice. Your hand is up.
I just wanted to say, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to say, of course, I love you, Elaine. You are one force to be reckoned with. This platform is amazing. I've been a little teary-eyed, but I've been on and off. But physically, I haven't been on, but listening to you guys. And I just want to say thank you, Elaine. Keep up the great work. And a little FYI as far as what you're talking about, as far as like, I think earning monies on the platform with you speaking. I don't know how you do it via YouTube 100%, but I think it's something like a patron page or something to where that you can, get donations and things like that. Just so FYI, I don't know if you're familiar, but someone mentioned it to me, so I'm mentioning it to you.
Absolutely.
It's called the patron page, baby.
Okay.
Okay. And listen, again, hugs and kisses. I love you guys.
I love you too. Thank you for joining.
And thank you for having me.
Elaine,
Yes.
you said that who wanted to pray in Arabic? I was gonna ask you, do they want to pray out? Yeah.
Wadu?
Tell them to pray out in Arabic. Yeah.
Okay. And so could you give me for a second?
Yeah.
So wait, let me see. Powerful and necessary. Yeah, so I appreciate everybody. Come on. I was actually giving everybody the shout out. So the one
Who you was talking about that was going to speak it out? You calling him your friend? Wow.
So this is my boyfriend. Come here. So this is what I do. Step down, because they can't see you. This is my man right here, y'all.
Hey, my brother.
So I was talking about how we usually pray in Crystal go out with a prayer.
Pray,
and I said to them today, she said, I was saying to them, so maybe he could give a little piece. It's Ramadan.
Right, and we could go
just
out.
give us a little prayer going out. All right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Ay, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika wa tabaraka ismuka wa ta'ala jaduka wa la ilaha gabuka. Okay, in translating that, right? I'm just going to say it means may God bless all y'all.
All of us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Okay.
See everybody next. Wait, I see. Oh, Sharice's hand went down. Was that it? Because I did see her hand up, but it's down. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Did you throw it up again, Sharice? Okay. All right. Everyone have a good night. See y'all next time.
You too. God
bless.
Love y'all.
Bye-bye. Love you
Love
too.
you. I miss you.
Y'all
Job well done, sister. Job well done. I salute you. God bless you.
God willing. Love you, Terry.
Love you guys.
And all y'all. So the song that we're gonna go out with is "Grateful" by Kenny Bobin, because we all should be very. I'm grateful for everyone on this platform. I love everyone. Have a good night.
Love you too. Good night.
Good night.
Elaine.
Yes.
You live in Whitman.
In Northorn, wait, I live in North. I don't know if I'm
Crystal, where you at?
Crystal in North. I moved back. Crystal in North and I'm in North.
I'm coming up next month for 2 weeks. I'll look y'all up when I get up here.
Okay. Well, text us. And don't forget to always to text me the 2 names so I can look.
One of the ladies on it now.
Okay. So now you know that you can do it for free or for less money. We'll work it out.
All right.
I think I need some sessions.
Elaine.
Yes?
Who was that to ask you who was your Christian live at? Oh, that sounds like Jackie.
Yeah, she do. That's our cousin Lois from Daddy's side.
Oh, and Tina, that's and Tina, what's Tina's last name?
Tina is a
what's her last name?
Right, Tina? No, Tina Lane.
Oh, hey, Tina. Hey, Tina.
I think she's off there.
Yeah, I know her as a Facebook friend.
Yeah, that's our cousin. Our mommy's side.
Oh, wow.
And then Lois is our cousin from Daddy's.
Yeah, Lois.
I'm happy to say so. Yes, grateful. Yes. I'll never fight this feeling. Raise my hands to the ceiling. Come on, I'm grateful.
Don't want it to stop.